Hey, everybody. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today is Thursday, May 11th. Can you guys believe it's May already? It's pretty crazy, isn't it? Time flies when you're kicking butt and having fun, right? What's up, Jonas? How you doing? I will try to make this another epic one for you. Hey, Dave. Good to see you back as well. Dave can hear me and see the screen. Great. What's up, Milo? Good to see you back. What's up, Liren? Good to see you again. And hope everybody's doing well. There's Robert again. And Miles says, so happy for another Ben Cummings Day. Yeah, this is like the international holiday once a month, right? Ben Cummings Day, with the champagne corks flying and the ribbon cutting parade kind of thing. I like that. What's up, Mona? How you doing? Mona is from Franklin, Tennessee. And what do you guys say we get started here? We have a lot to cover, and I'm quite excited for this. So first of all, I want to welcome my amazing, awesome, super motivated fast trackers. I'm telling you, I have the best clients in the world. You should see the emails that we get from you guys, all the good stuff you have going on. It just makes my day whenever we hear from you guys. So on today's training, you are going to learn something I'm super, super pumped to share with you guys. I've been sort of touting this and kind of teasing about this on my Fast Track podcast, and that's the Rockstar hiring funnel. The hairs on the back of your neck are going to stand on end when you see the new capability that you will have to find and hire A players, rock stars as I call them. Then I'm going to transition into what do you do with these rock stars and these VAs and these freelancers? How do you manage them, right? So that you're not in this position where you feel like that you're spending, more of your time now that you've hired people, but you actually have a life now. And so I call that frictionless management. It's a process that I have, developed within my own businesses because I'm CEO of multiple companies, right? And some of them can be run by the same employees, but others can't. So I had to come up with some logical, very, easy process that these people could interact, and where I didn't have to play the middleman on every freaking issue, right? If I have to play the middleman, then what's the point? And so, sometimes I know when you hire new staff, you feel like, well, wait a minute, who's working for who here, right? It's like, hey, give me something to do. Well, now I got to spend my time and blah, 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 blah. So I think you're going to really, really like this because I know some of you have been hiring, a lot of you have hired VAs and in some cases multiple VAs, and now you really need this next piece of the puzzle. So we're gonna talk about that. I'm very excited. Also, we're gonna talk about advanced sponsored ads tactics. We have Michael on today, and you guys all love Mike, and I asked him back to really get into some nitty-gritty stuff because he knew that I had taught a very comprehensive sponsored ads training last month. And a month before that, of course, I taught you how to do the keyword research. So it was really perfect timing to bring Mike back on. And then I have a one code tutorial for you. I have revised two of my most successful ranking and Amazon product launching ClickFunnels templates. And now I am going to show you how to use one code that will allow you to insert one-time use coupons using my ClickFunnels templates. And I think our revised version of one of the funnels is going to be a real game changer for a lot of you. So anyway, I like to start off with wins and success stories. And so please, those of you that are, hitting goals and you're doing great things, please write into Emily. And she does always, show them to me. I like to discuss these really positive events on my podcast. And of course, I like to discuss some of them here on the webinar. I really like to give you guys a shout out for your successes and for your accomplishments that you've had using the Fast Track stuff. And it really pumps everybody else up. So I read this off on the podcast yesterday. In case you missed it, Sue, I just love Sue. She wrote, "Hi, Ben and Emily. I just had to let you know how grateful I am for your amazing training. I had been struggling with one of my 3 products for an entire year and was about to give up on it. I decided to follow your training and give it one last chance. Oh my goodness, I followed your training to the letter, redid my keyword research, revised my PPC campaigns, used PPC Entourage, and now It's selling more than my best product. That's great. I've also improved all my other sales, reduced my PPC spend, and not even started with external traffic yet. To say I'm overjoyed is an understatement. Not only that, we just returned from the Canton Fair where we ordered 4 new products and are in discussions for 4 more. That's great. This will bring our total to 11 products. I feel totally confident of selling these new products, all selected following your trainings, of course. I feel confident and empowered by following your trainings. My business has never been more organized. I have a VA. I'm looking for 2 more. I have SOPs for a lot of my tasks, and this has enabled me to work on the important tasks in my business before I was overwhelmed with the mundane, repetitive stuff. Ben, you are a genius, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for literally changing mine and my family's lives for the better. The future really is amazing. Like you, we have an ambition to live in the Caribbean, and I can actually believe it will happen now. I've been working online for 7 years and have bought multiple training courses. Yours is the best by miles. Thank you a million times for all you do. With thanks, Sue Worthington. And, you know, as much as I like to, take credit for her success. I mean, Sue, without you taking action, right? Without you having the goals and the desire to make great stuff happen in your business, this never would happen. You got in the field there. You were willing to risk your time, your effort, and the potential failures, and you made it happen. So anyway, I just found that so inspiring, and I hope you guys do too. All right, I just want to let you guys know, I mean, most of you now follow my new fan page, but a whole lot of you don't. You're crazy because I'm posting some epic live content on there. You know, this is bonus content and video lessons, and I'm usually speaking to my fast trackers. You know, I mean, it's not like it's not like I'm I'm not like P. Diddy where I just show you something that's not relevant. You know, it's very much on point about e-commerce. So make sure that you go to that link there. Make sure you click the button. I think I don't know if it's a like button or like, follow button or something like that. But, click it all, follow, like, so that you're getting notified when we do our Facebook Lives. Lots and lots of good content there. And that will really help kind of act as a nice kick in the butt in between our fast track sessions, as well as make sure that you're listening to the bi-weekly audio podcast that I'm doing just for fast trackers, stuff that I don't want to reveal in public. And it really acts as some good glue, kind of holding the different, trainings together, acting as a bridge from one month and, into the next. And also just kind of reminding you of stuff that maybe you learned on a webinar that you thought was, kick ass, but you forgot to actually do anything with it. All right. So you guys know how I like to start here. I like to start off with your wins. So what was a win that you had since the last webinar? So I'm going to turn it over to you guys. If you have a win that you'd love to share, please type it in the chat box now. It can be something from your personal life. It can be a win from your e-commerce business. It can be a win on Amazon. It could be some sales number you hit that is a game changer for you. Something that happened as a result of something you learned in Fast Track, maybe a networking connection you made, insight that you gained listening to a podcast of mine, a video, whatever. It could be anything. So I want to start off with a few wins to create some positive focus here for the webinar. So if you have one, please type it now into the chat box, and let's see what's going on here. All right, let me just see here. Ashley is going to EWOO in June. That's awesome. That will be a big eye opener for you. It is so massive. It is almost awe-inspiring. The number of products that you can and could release on Amazon, you're going to actually find so many products that probably day one, your brain will want to explode. That's what happened to me. So the experience really kind of cemented day 2 and beyond for me there, because it's just, you're almost getting the lay of the land the first day. So just accept that you'll probably feel a little overwhelmed initially, but then you'll settle into the groove, and it's a really, really good experience. And you're going to, by the way, set the goal to learn how to negotiate, because you're going to have like 20 opportunities a day to negotiate while you're in EWOO. And so you're going to leave there with a very good, intuitive feel for how to haggle, how to negotiate. And remember, you're doing it through a translator, so it takes kind of the pressure off. One piece of advice I would have, and I'm sorry to kind of go off on a tangent, but sit down with your translator before you go to the EWU Center and go over how you will be negotiating and make sure that they understand that, okay? Donna Moyer is up 104% this year versus last year. Donna, virtual high fives. That is awesome. Liren redid his PPC campaigns using the new strategy. That's awesome, Liren. Beverly Hannah has been accepted into Amazon Exclusives program. Awesome. Joseph used my Price Hammer China emails to knock off another 10% of the price on one of his products. Hey, that's like found money, you know? It's found money, right? That's awesome. So Christine finally broke through the ceiling of the 30,000s and hit 40,000 a month. She's averaging 42,000 a month. Christine, you kick butt. Sasha, oh, by the way, Sasha, thank you for your email, by the way. Really, really appreciate that. I'm going to have to pass on that offer, though, for reasons I won't bore you with, but really, really appreciate you thinking of us on that. And Sasha says after months of lagging on product development, 3 new products are underway and will land within the next 2 to 5 weeks. That's awesome. That is awesome. And by the way, the timing is probably good, right? Because, you're heading into the summer and, that way you'll have several months to get these things ranked and established as you head into, when it rains money on Amazon, which is from November until January. So that's awesome. Liren hired a VA. Drew is also going to EWU with Sean Hart. He's aiming to source 30 products. He's not messing around. Jeff says his son graduated Mississippi State University School of Business and now a full-time employee of mine. That's awesome, Jeff. Hope you're going to have him listen to these webinars. So if he's going to listen to this replay, I just want to say congrats. That's awesome. Bharat made some progress with sponsored ads after last month's webinar. That's awesome. Anna started with meditation in the morning and do not look at the phone. Good. Asley's pumped up. Gus says the keywords and PPC from your last webinar is killing it for me, and he's working on his next product. That's awesome, Gus. And Christine also cut her ACoS on sponsored ads by nearly 20% since the beginning of the year. That is freaking awesome. And she says, great ads training. Thank you. Michael says, because it seems like I know what I'm talking about now, completely due to Fast Track, I was able to get a new client to build out and do marketing for a large Shopify e-commerce store. Thanks, Ben. That's awesome, Michael. And we'll take a couple more real quick. Jason, what's up, Jason? Good to see you. Jason says, I got my last container for $6 less than previous because of implementing your negotiating methods. That's awesome. 6,000, he meant 6,000. 6,000 less. That's freaking awesome. Jeff's son is listening right now. Awesome. Awesome. Jeff, you're going to have to teach your son, though, what good music is, AKA the hard rock stuff that me and your old man listen to, right, Jeff? All right. Boy, they just keep rolling in here. And Jeff, here one with Jeff. He says, win number 2 for the first time in history. His PPC campaigns have a positive ROI. That's awesome. That is awesome. Great. Boy, those are some good wins, huh? So, all right. We're going to get right into the content because there is a lot of good stuff here. And I just want to get right to it. So in March, I taught you how to become research ninjas as far as keywords, right? How to become keyword research ninjas for your Amazon products, right? Check, done. In April, with Michael's help, right? I taught you how to become sponsored ads ninjas. Boom, check, done. It's May, right? And you can see the progress. And now you're ready to learn some advanced, well, although what we taught last month, I consider advanced, but even more advanced, PhD level, let's call it, sponsored ads tactics from the man himself, Michael Zagare. And he's the guy behind the tool that I love so much called PPC Entourage. You guys know that I was one of the early guys that really pushed this out in the marketplace. I had a lot of enthusiasm, do have a lot of enthusiasm for it. I think it's absolutely the best. And it it's just a moneymaker. It's like a no-brainer, right? And I think pretty much all of you guys are on board with it, which is great, because I really love what Michael's doing. And the more of us, the more users that we can push over to Michael, the more improvements, the more tweaks, the more kind of, network effect just of pure users he has now to be doing lots of new innovations, which he might be talking about today. If not, maybe I'll have him on next month real quick. So we'll just kind of see what Michael says. But so as you guys know, we're using PPC Entourage to crush it with campaign building, campaign optimization, campaign expansion. You guys heard some of the wins. In fact, several of the wins were just specifically about this. So anyway, I asked Michael to come back and share some of his latest insights about sponsored ads. Here's Michael right here. And Michael, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
I can. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, guys. It is so great to hear that you guys are having some success with sponsored products. That's awesome to hear. So, and so great to be back on.
Yeah, we're pumped for you, and we're just so happy of the success that you're having there with PPC Entourage. I mean, there's a reason why people are loving it, and not only do we get great comments here, but people even on my Facebook Live, they'll just randomly, like, I'll be talking about nothing to do with sponsored ads, and someone will just be like pumped and say, "Hey, I lowered my ACOS, thanks." So people are pumped about it.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to see that ACOS decline on a regular basis. I get pumped by it too, still to this day. So, and I think today's topic is going to help you guys really continue to reduce that ACOS. So that's
awesome.
That's what it's all about. It's a very boring topic, CTR percentage, but I'm going to make it as exciting as possible.
Oh, perfect. So I'm gonna make you the panelist here, okay?
All right, cool.
I mean the presenter here. So something will probably pop up on your end that you'll need to click.
Okay.
And we can see your screen.
All right. Let me know when you guys can see the full screen. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks again for having me back on, guys. And today we're going to talk about click-through rate percentage, which seems like a very boring metric, but it's really important to take a good look at what your click-through rate percentage is. And I'm going to share with you guys why. As you know, it's my mission to really help Amazon sellers scale their business using PPC. And that's something that we were able to do back in 2016, and we continue to be able to do that to this day. And we're always looking for new ways for Amazon sellers to leverage PPC, to save money on ad spend, right? It's better in your pocket than in Amazon's. And also to get more impressions, get more eyeballs to your listings, and really swarm the competition using PPC. And in doing so, we realized that the click-through rate percentage is a very important metric to keep an eye on. And it's often overlooked. And looking at the click-through rate percentage, you can do both of those things. You could reduce your ad spend and also potentially get more eyeballs to your listing. And I'm going to share with you guys how we do that in our campaigns. So in this presentation, you guys will discover the importance of click-through rate percentage and what it can tell you about your product and your audience and how to use it to your advantage. We're also going to show you how to use click-through rate percentage to direct traffic to the keywords and search terms that are more likely to get clicks and sales. And finally, this is the most important part. We're going to show you how why it's important to consider optimizing based on CTR percentage and how you can do this in really no time at all. All right, so for those of you who don't know me, I've been on the podcast now. This is the third time. So thank you guys again for having me back on. Thank you, Ben, so much. I am a recovering physical therapist. I have not treated now in over 1.5 years. I don't miss it, although I did work with old women, old ladies in their homes, and I do miss part of it, but it's definitely loving the e-commerce business now and PPC Entourage. And I am a fully fledged entrepreneur. I love what I do, love to help other people out, and that's my goal, is to really build PPC Entourage and help as many people out as possible. So what is click-through rate percentage? Let's dive right into it. Click-through rate percentage is the clicks divided by the impressions. And as you can see here, there's 26 million impressions and roughly 53,000 clicks, and the CTR percentage here is 0.2. So it's a very simple metric to look at, and we have some basic guidelines which we'll go over a little bit later. But what is really behind that number, and what can you get out of it to really help you know how your listing is doing, how your images are doing, how you're doing with PPC, all of these different things. So why is the click-through rate percentage important? Well, first off, it's a great indicator of how well you're connecting with your audience. If you're putting something out that's not connecting well to your audience, then you're going to know it based on your click-through rate percentage. Obviously, people aren't going to really be clicking on your listing if they're looking for something, and then they see your sponsored product ad, and it's a completely different, a complete mismatch, right? So first and foremost, it really tells us the story as to if you're getting in front of the right audience. Now, that doesn't mean I recommend not going after a broad audience, and we're going to talk about that later. And sometimes when you go after a broad audience, the click-through rate percentage is going to be low, but that's okay. It's also a great indicator of the quality of your title, image, and the competitiveness of your price point. So if you have a really bad title that has like a lot of stuffed keywords and it's a one long run-on sentence, people may not click on that. If your image is terrible and it's not taking up the full width of the space that Amazon allowed you to take up, that could be another reason why your click-through rate percentage is off. And also, how competitive is your price point? If you're selling a Me Too product and you have the same image, maybe a slightly higher price point, then people might start to shop based on price point, and that could really drop down your click-through rate. Some evidence, and this is pretty important, some evidence suggests a much lower click-through rate percentage, a much lower cost per click on a keyword if the click-through rate percentage is high. So let me rephrase that. If you have a really high click-through rate percentage, right, you're getting impressions and you're getting clicks, there is some evidence that shows you will spend less money on those clicks, right? So there's incentive here to keep your CTR percentage high. Some evidence also suggests better ad placement if your CTR percentage is high. And why is that? Amazon loves people to click on ads. They want to make sure that up in the good real estate of Amazon, the better ads are going to be up there where they're going to get more clicks, and obviously they're going to make more money. And by the way, guys, I called Amazon on this a bunch of times, and I also spoke with a bunch of experts to get their opinion on the click-through rate percentage. So this has a lot of evidence to back it up, but I would definitely suggest going into your numbers and checking out what you guys find as far as the cost per click and the CTR percentage and how it matches up. So it also, you could also divert traffic to where you're getting clicks and conversions by optimizing based on CTR percentage. And this is really the bread and butter of this presentation. I'm going to show you guys how to optimize your campaigns, look at the CTR percentage, and look at search terms that have a relatively low CTR percentage, and then take action based on that. And last but definitely not least, Amazon likes it. So I called up Amazon and spoke to a few sponsored products reps specifically about CTR percentage. And yes, they favor campaigns that have a higher CTR percentage. So anything they like, we like. All right, so here's an example of a high CTR percentage that has the lowest bid. So as I said before, check out your data and look at that and see if there's an example of that in your data. That's quite a big difference between the two. Okay, so now here's some CTR percentage benchmarks. Now this is based on a minimum of 1,000 impressions. If it's greater than 0.4, that typically indicates that you are reaching your target audience. So we tend to tell people between 0.4 and 0.8 is a really good CTR percentage. If it's less than 0.4, and again, even though it's less than 0.4, it doesn't mean that we're going to go over the strategies later for the different campaigns and how this all relates. But in general, if it's less than 0.4, it could indicate poor relevance to your target audience. It could indicate poor title, image, or perhaps a high price point. And it could also indicate a significant amount of competitors and possibly poor ad placement, right? So if you're getting really bad PPC ad placement and it's maybe at the bottom of the page, you may be getting a lot of impressions, but just not getting the click. And there's specific strategies that we're going to talk about to try and get better ad placement, which is going to bring up your CTR percentage. All right, so now there are different, so these are the different campaigns, and Ben spoke about these last month. And we're going to go over 5 different campaigns and then talk specifically what the CTR percentage might be for those different types of campaigns. So the first one that people typically start with is the automatic campaign, right? And the match type, which is important when talking about CTR percentage, is broad. Now the CTR percentage, what are you going to look for? In general, it's going to vary. And that really depends on what Amazon thinks about your product. Do you have a good listing, bullet points, title? Is it very descriptive? Are your search term fields, are they filled out properly? Does Amazon know what you're selling? If they do, they're more likely to put you in front of good search terms and keywords related to what you're selling, and thus your CTR percentage is probably going to be a little bit higher. If you're trying to fill your back-end search term fields and your bullet points with random things and confusing Amazon, that might be a little bit lower. So the manual seed research campaign, that's when you find huge bulk lists of keywords and search terms, and you create a research campaign, and you use a match type of either broad or phrase. I use broad. You can expect a lower CTR percentage, especially if you're going after your audience and related products. Keep in mind, in this strategy, we're going to test out large bulk keyword lists that may or may not be directly related to what we are selling. We're going to test out the keywords directly related to what we're selling, but we're also trying to find out where our audience is hiding and if we can get any sales from anything else related to our audience. In doing so, you're going to get some clunkers, right? And this might drive down your CTR percentage because it's not a direct connection. The ACOS scraping, which is my 100% favorite campaign, also called the search term expansion campaign, is again a broad or a phrase match type. We use broad. Expect a variable CTR percentage, which will likely be higher than the seed research campaign, right? Especially if you go and you look at the search terms that have at least 2 orders, your CTR percentage is going to be a little bit higher likely, because these are search terms that are already directly connected to your product. People have purchased it twice, so expect a slightly higher CTR percentage there. The individual word research campaign. This is when you turn all of your research words into their individual words. I absolutely love this campaign. And at the end of this presentation, I'll show you guys a technique that I've been using that's really been helping us get a lot of extra sales. But the individual word research campaign is when you just take the individual word and you put it in as a broad or phrase match type. I use broad. Again, expect a low CTR percentage because it's a broad match type and it's hooking you up with more traffic and getting you more exposure. So now the match type expansion campaign, which is the proven keyword winners, right? You have all of these campaigns here are sort of feeding the match type expansion campaign, and these are where the winners go. So now, since they're winners, they've had multiple orders that are profitable. Expect a higher CTR percentage because it's directly connected to your audience. All right, so now let's get into some considerations. And expect a much lower CTR percentage if the keyword is not a direct match. So I mentioned this before, if you're going after your audience and it's maybe something that they might be interested in, but you're just testing out the keyword, you could expect a much lower CTR percentage. A good example of this is if you're selling hot sauce, right? And you put into your campaign hamburger sauce, and hamburger sauce shows up. If somebody types in hamburger sauce and then sees your ad, you may get impressions, but the CTR percentage might be a little bit lower because they're looking for hamburger sauce. They may purchase your hot sauce or they may not. Consider the difference between a research campaign versus a phrase and exact match campaign. So obviously, like I said before, the CTR percentage is likely going to be lower in a research campaign versus a phrase and exact match profitable campaign. And we're going to go over how to optimize these towards the end of this presentation. If you are selling a Me Too product with lots of similar products in the marketplace, then CTR percentage could be lower as customers might start browsing based on price. So what does this say? Differentiate your product and also differentiate your images and make sure that yours stands out. All right, so perhaps you are getting impressions but with poor ad placement. In this case, consider adjusting your bid price or match type, which means advance to the phrase and exact match to attempt at getting better ad placement. All right, so look, what you could do is actually see where your ad placement is and type in the keyword and see if it's lower on the page, or maybe it's not there at all. Maybe it's on the 3rd page, 4th page. See where you're getting ad placement and then adjust either the bid or try a different match type to see if you can get up towards the top. Is the keyword or search term located inside of your title, bullet points, summary, or search term fields, right? So if you're going after a specific keyword or search term, is it located in your listing anywhere? That will likely help your CTR percentage. How does your title look on mobile? Titles can get cut off, leaving out vital elements that might not sell the click, right? So look into your products on mobile and ask yourself, is this, are the main keywords at the very beginning? So this way people who are looking for your product are likely going to click, or is your, like, something like your brand name at the very beginning, where it's taking up valuable real estate? How are your images? Does it fill up valuable Amazon real estate? Spans the width of the allowed image space? So guys, this is really important. I highly suggest having a third party look at your images. Just ask somebody's opinion, get it out there, and also split test. I'm just getting into split testing my images, so this is new to me, but I've heard that it does nothing but good things when you split test images. But obviously a better image that takes up the entire width, entire span of the real estate is going to possibly help your CTR percentage. Okay, consider seasonality. Are you advertising your watering hose in the middle of January? Then your CTR percentage might decline. Are you protecting your profitable campaigns with proper CTR percentage optimization strategies? Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to do this in minutes, and this is the bread and butter of this presentation. I really want you guys to learn how to optimize campaigns and looking at each campaign and asking yourself, do I want to keep getting visibility for a search term that's not doing anything for me? That's really not getting me any clicks or any sales, just kind of taking up space, and it might be impacting your CTR percentage. So that being said, here is my theory, and here is what we've been doing with our PPC. The research campaigns house the broad and phrase match keywords that we are testing with a slightly lower bid price compared to the profitable phrase and exact match campaign. So we are testing large lists of keywords with a lower bid price, right? And then we are elevating those words once they have orders into the phrase and exact match type campaign. That is because typically CTR percentage is low in the research campaign compared to the phrase and exact match campaign. I keep the two separate to maintain the CTR percentage for the exact match campaign, with a slightly higher bid to direct traffic to the phrase and exact match campaign. So let me rephrase that. The research campaign, I start the keywords off in the research campaign with a lower bid. Those are likely going to have a lower CTR percentage. And then as the orders come in, graduate those words into the phrase and exact match campaign with a slightly higher bid to direct traffic over there. And then we optimize normally, but we also keep CTR percentage into consideration, which I'll go over in a second. Just please note, I do not shut off or shield the broad match winners when I move it to the phrase and exact match campaign. I get this question all the time. I never shut off a keyword or search term if it's doing well in a campaign just to get it moving in another campaign. I just can't get myself to do it. So I have to tell you guys what I have been doing. All right, so let's talk strategy. And I'm going to simplify this as much as possible. the CTR percentage optimization strategies are going to be different for each campaign, but it's very, very simple. First of all, we're not going to optimize based on CTR percentage for a given search term unless it has 1,000 impressions, right? Because if it doesn't have 1,000 impressions, it doesn't really tell the story. And I don't want you guys to over-optimize and optimize too quickly. I see a lot of people who optimize like, the very next day or something, and they don't give it enough of a chance to really to tell the story. So a minimum of 1,000 impressions is very important when considering this form of optimization. The other thing is I would definitely, which we're doing here is we're looking at search terms, right? We're not optimizing the keyword, we're optimizing the search terms that came from the keyword. So the strategy here is using a negative exact. For example, a keyword could connect with 9 or 10 different search terms, and some of those search terms might have lots of impressions and no clicks. We're going to find those, and we're going to do the negative exact on those. And then we're going to keep the ones that are doing really well. So we're going to maintain the CTR percentage by doing a negative exact so long that that search term has a minimum of 1,000 impressions. And I'm going to share my screen and show you guys how I do this live. Okay, so now, how do you optimize this based on CTR percentage across the different campaigns? So the automatic campaign, basically, I don't optimize based on CTR percentage for the automatic campaign. You could do it, but what I love to do is the negative word finder, which is finding the individual words, and also the search term optimization. That sort of gets rid of the bulk of the optimization that I have to do really, really quickly. So for the manual seed research campaign, I also optimize using the negative word finder and also search term optimization. And then after several months, once the campaign's had a chance to season itself a little bit, then I'll take a look at the CTR percentage and optimize some of the search terms that are just getting lots of impressions and no clicks. And then I'll just keep that going, because you really want to keep the campaign strong in Amazon's eyes. The ACOS scraping is very much the same thing. Later on in the campaign life cycle, you want to optimize based on CTR percentage. So maybe 3 or 4 months in, take a look at the CTR percentage and ask yourself if some of the words can be negative exacted out. The individual word research campaign, the exact same thing. After a few months, take a look at the CTR percentage of search terms and then decide. The most important thing here is the match type expansion. We want to keep this campaign rocking and rolling. We want to keep it very, very favorable in Amazon's eyes. And one of the ways to do that is to optimize based on CTR percentage. So after 1 to 2 months, you can optimize based on CTR percentage for the match type expansion. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys how to do that live. And here we have, now you could do this inside of, you can do this, with a search term report. So if you wanted, that's fine too. We have a filter that does it for you inside of PPC Entourage. It takes like 5 seconds. So basically the filter is housed under campaign optimization, search term optimization, and then the time saving filters. It's also in Keyword Optimizer if you want to do it based on a specific keyword, but we're going to just use this as an example. So by clicking over here, you're going to see the first filter is a low CTR percentage, less than 0.4, which indicates high impressions and low clicks. So if I double click on impressions, the ones with the most amount of impressions are going to come to the top. And as you can see, this one here, this particular search term, nail clipper set. Now, keep in mind, these are search terms only. These are not keywords. These are search terms in the campaign. So nail clipper set has a ton of impressions, no CTR percentage, no orders, nothing, and no clicks, nothing. It's just sitting there in space. Now, we have something we do with these words. We don't just get rid of them and throw them out and wipe our hands clean with them. We're actually going to try to utilize these words and get sales out of them, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So I would go through this campaign and take a look at the different words. Again, if this was a phrase and exact match campaign, then I don't want much of these, right? Because they're just sucking away all of my impressions. I want to get more impressions for the words that are creating sales. Does that make sense? I want to divert traffic, kind of like an air traffic controller, to the search terms that are making me the most amount of money, and then tell Amazon I'm not interested in these particular words because obviously there's no orders and the CTR percentage is terrible. So to do that, you would just copy this to a clipboard and then go from there. And in the negative word finder, you could actually find the individual words that are impacting your campaign on a CTR percentage base in a bad way on a CTR percentage. So over here, if you double click on CTR percentage, you're going to see the very lowest ones, right? So for Clipper, Polish, Acrylic, and these have a lot of impressions, but not that many clicks. So then you can go and do a negative phrase on these, and you wouldn't get the impressions. And then, of course, your CTR percentage theoretically will go up. All right. Just to let you guys know, we have a real quick announcement that now you can push all of your changes from Entourage over to Seller Central. So all you have to do is click Add Negatives to Campaign, and there's going to be a little pop-up that shows up, and you can just go ahead and go from there. It's real simple. As you know, we're interested in saving people a lot of time on PPC. But that's generally how you do it. You would go to one of the filters and then look through it and then push it over to try to reduce your CTR percentage. So let's get back into the presentation here. And one second. Okay. All right, so we went over this already. Protect your CTR percentage on your phrase and exact match or profitable campaigns. We want to keep that low in the broad or the phrase ACOS scraping campaign or the research campaign. And then once we graduate words into the phrase and exact match campaigns, we want to make sure that CTR percentage is nice and high. Okay, and here we go. This is just a recap of what I just said and showing you the software. Make simple, it's made simple inside of PPC Entourage, really easy to do. You double click on the CTR percentage and use a negative exact if it has 1,000 impressions or a very low CTR percentage. What we're gonna do, now this is key. You're gonna take those words that have a low CTR percentage and we're gonna create a new campaign. I'm gonna call it the Golden Catfish Campaign. Now this is like where I put all of the negatives. Whenever I do a negative, I put it in a Golden Catfish campaign, which is basically a broad match campaign with a super low bid of like 30 cents or 35 cents or something like that. Because those words are connected, but I just don't want to get, I don't want to mess up my old campaigns that are doing really well with a low CTR percentage. And I want to try to utilize those words and get more sales from those words, but at a much lower bid price. So yeah, it's worked out pretty well. Our ACOS is well below, is I think about 26%. So we get sales on this all the time. It's an awesome strategy. And again, you can use the negative phrase match, like I said, with the negative word finder. And just a little tip, always shield yourself in the future using the negative list and always log and track your results, right? So if something goes wrong, you could always see what you did, and this way you could always revert back to what you did, what you had before, and then continue your progress from there. All right, guys. So this is just a little recap. I've got some images of what I just showed you live, and I have an offer here for you guys. If you're not on PPC Entourage yet, we would love to have you. We are confident that we can help you save money with PPC, as some of the people on the podcast, on the broadcast, have already done. So take a look at this offer here. It's for life. And it's for Ben's audience only. 15% off for life, so that you could turn into this guy. That's Jeff Bezos right there. There he is. Okay. So yeah. So that's it, guys. CTR percentage. Hope you enjoyed.
Michael, that's great. And, very, very cool stuff you showed us. I love the automation tool, though. I mean, that is awesome. I remember we talked that you weren't sure if that was going to be available this soon, but you pushed it out, huh? Is that now live in all of our accounts?
It's live in everybody's account. As of 3:45 this morning, we have. Yeah, it's been an awesome time doing this, and yeah. So there's a couple things that we still have to push out probably in the next 2 days. So we're making a couple tweaks to it, but I mean, I haven't told anybody about this yet. It's ready to go. Power PPC. If you go there, you can make campaigns and everything else too. So it's just going to get better and better and better as we go. But in the next 3 or 4 days, we'll have a lot more updates coming.
I am so excited about those automation things in this because that's, I mean, that's killer. So awesome. All right. So let's take some Q&A here. Let's see if anybody has some questions here. Yeah, Brad's pumped about the automation feature. Bill says, do you have to put negative words on each campaign for product or on just one and it applies to all?
Oh, okay. So so right now, if you do a negative inside of Entourage or in Seller Central, you could do it on a campaign level or an ad group level. So if you do it on a campaign level, it'll apply to all of the SKUs within that campaign. Ad group, if it's broken down by SKU, then you have to do it on an ad group level. I'm not quite sure if that answers his question.
I'm not sure either because I didn't quite understand what he meant, but if Michael did not answer your question, just to post a follow-up and maybe we'll get to it here. Hey, Timothy, what's up, Timothy? Got your email, by the way. Thanks for that. And Timothy wants to know, can we add multiple accounts on PPC Entourage for an extra fee?
Yes, you can. Yeah, and international as well too. And I think it works even better for international because it's real hard to know the native language there. So this will just show you the words that people are actually using to make sales. So I really love it internationally. We're going to be on India soon and eventually Japan.
Cool. Milo is loving it. She says, fabulous. Thank you. Stephen Pettit says, thank you, Michael. This is one of the best tools that we use every day. Awesome. Liren wants to know, would raising a bid possibly improve CTR?
I have no experience with that, so I don't know offhand if that could do it. I mean, you might want to test it out. And what I would do is do a campaign login track and then raise your bid and then go back and see if it had any impact on your CTR percentage. This way you can see before and after if it had an impact. So that's how we test it. But in theory, it makes sense to me, but I can't guarantee that would work.
Mark says, what can you do if your PPC campaign hasn't generated any sales?
Oh boy, well that's a loaded question. So I would start with the listing and go from there because I think CTR, I think PPC is like an amplifier. You know, if your listing is good, if your product is good, if you have a lot of reviews, then you're probably going to do pretty well with PPC. So start with your listing, optimize it, listen to what Ben's saying on the Fast Track webinars, and then go from there. And then also follow the blueprint. What Ben went over last month is exactly what we've been doing to get success.
And then Christine says that her head is swimming a little bit, trying to figure out how often I need to be getting into PPC Entourage to be looking at campaigns. So Christine, I would actually refer you back to last month's Fast Track training that I did, because I actually spell it out. There's a diagram there, roughly 1 hour a week for a campaign optimization. And I absolutely spell out exactly step by step what you should be doing in 1 hour a week for the campaign expansion. So you might want to rewatch it a couple times. There's a lot of data there. And then, the benefit of the SOPs and the diagrams is so that you can kind of see the holistic view of what you should be doing. We'll take a couple more questions. Dan says, awesome stuff. I love the automation. Thanks, Michael. So you have some raving fans out there, Michael. Let's see. I'll take one more question here because we gotta roll here in a minute. Okay. Kusha says Michael's a badass.
What's up, Kusha? How you doing? I know I'm very well.
So Michael, you're officially a badass now.
That's the first time badass in my life. But thanks, Kusha.
Hans says he's going to register for PPC Entourage tomorrow. Tomorrow? Do it now. Yes, you will get the slide. No, actually, you won't get the slides, but you'll have the replay here. And if Michael, if he wants to send me the slides over, actually, I think he did send me the first version of the slides. But if you want to send me over the last version here, I can post them with the replay, Michael.
All right, no problem.
All right, I'll take one last question from Jeff, since his son, who just graduated college, is on Mississippi State. Jeff says, so we're not concerned so much with the click-through rate in the research campaign, but we want to keep the CTR in the PE campaign at 0.4% or above. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And then after 3 or 4 or 5 months in your research campaign, if you're crushing it with the research campaign, which I tend to, that's our best campaigns. Our ACOS scraping and our research campaigns, we really do well. So then just to protect those, look at the CTR percentage and just get rid of the worst offenders. You don't have to be as particular in those campaigns, but definitely in your phrase and exact match, just look through it a little bit more carefully. And then if it's over 0.4 or under 0.4, consider optimizing.
And we'll take 2 last real quick questions. So Christine, and again, I'd really refer you to last month's webinar, because I covered so far all the questions that you posted. But she wants to know, how do you do a campaign login track? And she's referring to the feature inside PPC Entourage.
Oh, yeah. So you just simply go to the campaign dashboard, and then you're going to go down here and just log what you did. So eventually, with the automation in the next week or so, if you do something or you do a negative exact or negative phrase, it's going to automatically log it here for you and then list what you did. This way, you don't lose track. This came about because I'm like a psycho over at Starbucks, like just doing things, and I never remembered what the heck I did. So this is a great way to track or to log what you did, and then also see the before and after. And then when you do that, you can see the before and after here. You can see the profit, the revenue, the ACOS, and what we're looking at here is the clicks and the CTR percentage. Did that go up or did that go down?
Yep. All right, and then a last question here from Jacob. He says, Amazon suggests a bid range for a keyword. What should we go with? Lowest, highest, median, or even higher than they suggest?
I'm aggressive. I go higher, slightly higher than what they suggest. I never, unless it's a golden catfish or one of those other campaigns where I'm doing individual words at a much lower bid price, I'll go a little bit higher than what they suggest. But also you'll get feedback in your search term reports. You can see, how much the click is for a particular keyword. And the other thing is the reason why we tend to go really wide is because we try to find the search terms that are going to be a little bit cheaper, right? Because there's a million ways to say the same thing. So that's why with the ACOS scraping, the bid prices tend to be a little bit lower because we're going a little bit wider and we're not going after the main keyword where everyone else is going after it, driving up your bid price. So to answer your question, I always go a little bit higher. I'm very aggressive. That's all I know. That's all I do. But I also try to find the cheap clicks with the ACOS scraping and the search term expansion.
Great. And then just a couple last few comments. Jason Spar says, tell you hello.
What's up, Jason? Long time. How you been, man?
And then Dan says, automated logging too. Michael really is a badass. so they're loving this.
All this stuff comes from your ideas too, so keep them coming. I really appreciate your feedback and input.
Awesome. All right, so I've just taken back over as presenter. Michael, thanks so much. You're more than free to stay on if you want to, hang out or whatever you got to do. But appreciate it. And if you guys are not using PPC Entourage, you're insane. I always joke that if you're not using PPC Entourage, then you must not like money, because if you're spending any kind of money on sponsored ads, then you need a tool like a PPC Entourage, because it just allows you to navigate at a very, very profitable level all that data. So, Mike, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Hopefully I can twist your arm to be on again here in the future soon, okay?
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Yeah, Mike is a badass. All right, let me go into full screen mode here, and all right, let's just take a quick stretch. We're just shy of an hour in. We have at least an hour to go here, and I have some just killer stuff. So do me a favor, hit the mental reset button. Grab a sip of water. Take a quick stretch. And I am so pumped to share something I've never shared in Fast Track. And like the slide says, are you guys ready to learn about getting freedom in your Amazon business? Hell yeah is the answer. So let's talk about the Rockstar hiring funnel, AKA Operation Get a Life, finally. So why should you care about the Rockstar hiring funnel? So yeah, I know all the gentlemen on this call, your eyes went right to the models and the bottom picture. That's actually a picture from right in front of my St. Bart's hotel. For 2 or 3 years, they did I believe the spring Victoria's Secret catalog shoot, like right in front of my hotel. So of course, all my brothers are like, "Oh, very suspicious your timing when you always go in November, Ben. Very, very suspicious." I swear, it just works out. So anyway, this is a picture that Emily took. So please don't think I'm sexist here. Emily took this, all right? But they were out there working hard in the sun, and they really were working hard. I mean, I know people are like, "Oh, wham, models are working hard," but I mean, they worked them from morning until the sunset. I mean, it was grueling work. But anyway, so here's why you should care about this, though, because our Amazon business, and you have to believe this because I walk the talk. Our Amazon businesses, all of our Amazon businesses absolutely can realize the dream of being an automated business, what I call a turnkey business. They can be fully operational businesses that do not, I repeat, that do not require our direct day-to-day involvement. So I set a personal goal. I called it Operation St. Bart's. You guys know that I love St. Bart's. It inspires me. I have it as my screensaver on my monitors, and I'm kind of working towards this long-term goal of buying a villa. Actually, this villa right there in that picture that some friends of mine rented. It's very expensive, so I don't know if I can justify purchasing it. But hey, who knows, right? But it is like the most unbelievable place. For me, it's paradise. It just does something to my soul. It relaxes me. It's so fun to hang out there with friends every year. And it's just awe-inspiring, the landscape and the cuisine and everything, right? So I call it Operation St. Bart's. That was one of my goals. So in 2016, starting in March of last year and into 2017, so we're into May, I set the goal that I wanted to be able to travel to St. Bart's. So this coming November, when I go back, I'm gonna, my goal was to go without having to take my cell phone, without even telling my staff where I'm staying, without bringing my laptop, and that my business would run better when I return, without any constraints or backlogs waiting on me, without a pile of stuff. In fact, it would improve and grow in my absence. That was really hit home when in February I went to Puerto Rico and I saw this really sharp entrepreneur named Dan Reutman. He is the guy that built a $100 million a year company based on a foreign language course called the Peninsular. I think that's his brand. If not, it's one of the competing foreign language brands, and he eventually sold it, I think. But anyway, 100 million a year, in kind of our space, you take notice, right? Because he would mail, some CDs and this course of how to learn Spanish or French or whatever. And he says, if you leave for vacation and you return to a pile of urgent problems and stuff that you and only you have to do, that's not a business. You have a glorified job, J-O-B. And I'm like, whoa, the dude nailed it, right? The dude nailed it. So anyway, I want to give you like an update on this goal, okay? Right now, realistically, since November, when I got back from St. Bart's, maybe December actually, because we're right in the throes of the holiday season. So I was, more involved in sort of steering the ship because it's peak sales. But as of right now, at least, literally fully 99%, I mean, really for all practical purposes, 100%, but 99%, literally 99%, I exaggerate not. 99% of my day-to-day Amazon operations, I have a 7-figure Amazon business. We're growing every single month. We're more profitable than ever. 99% of it is running without me. We are very much cash flow positive. In fact, I'm using that financing to fund my new e-commerce startup. And that new e-commerce startup is entirely off of Amazon. And right away, like i.e. within 3 weeks, averaging 1,000 leads per day, 1,000 opt-ins per day. I mean, so guys, this can work, okay? By the way, it doesn't mean that I'm like not working all day. I'm still busy. I'm just now busy on growing some of my other businesses, right? And now I have more time to work on my latest Amazon ranking innovations and things like that, okay? So for me, it wasn't about not having to work, but it was time. I knew enough about the Amazon operations and the systems that I knew that I could train the right people and that they could run it as well, if not better than me. And one of the great things about Fast Track is that every single month I create these SOPs. Well, guess what? Yes, it was one part for you guys, and you guys love the SOPs. I mean, you guys rave about them, but it was also in part for me and to allow me to hit this goal. So now you have the same tools that I'm using, but now I really want to inspire you to automate and create what I call the turnkey Amazon business. This ain't a pipe dream. And by the way, it's not about working like the 4-hour work week. I think that's bullshit. It's about freeing up your headspace, your stress level, so that you can grow new brands if you want to, grow new businesses, or have more time to de-stress so you're not having an ulcer and all this kind of stuff, okay? Bottom line, I've been able to pull this off by really putting my focus for a year now on building an incredible implementation team made up of 3 key parts: the freelancers, VAs, and CTs. CTs are my core team. So, like in other words, CTs are my employees. Okay. And by the way, I hit my goal, recently in St. Bart's. I rented that boat there for our friends. And that bottom picture is one of my favorite places called La Gloriette. It's literally like lunch with your feet in the sand. And like I say in that picture, I swear I did not drink all of that booze myself. I swear. All right. So let's learn the Rockstar hiring funnel. And I'm going to do a little drum roll here because I have been so excited to share this with you. I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. All right. So take a look at this poster. This is my hard rock band from the 80s. Yes, I know you guys are going to love this and rip on me for it, but see this dude right here? That was me. I was a 16-year-old badass, at least in my own mind, right here. Look at that hair. My wife claims that's a mullet. I guess technically it is, but Eddie Van Halen had a haircut like this, so he was my guitar idol. Cause I played the lead guitar in Frenzy, so I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to have Eddie Van Halen hair. Now I have no hair, so what can you do? This is my cousin who is our drummer, and I actually put him in charge of managing my nightclubs. You'll later on in life. At the time, this guy Joel, he was 30 years old. I was, I think, in this picture 15, and like I literally thought, whoa, this dude is so old. But kind of the entrepreneurial spirit was still in me, and I was really kind of managing the whole group, and we just let this guy, the old guy, think he was kind of in charge because he was the oldest guy. But me and Keith, we really kind of made things happen, and we got a weekly gig. Here's my point of telling all this, other than just kind of laughing at that picture. In the world of music, if you're going to hire a band member, you don't do a freaking interview, right? What do? You make them try out. You say, hey, that sounds great. I'm so glad that you're an accomplished drummer, but here are some drumsticks. Sit down, and we're going to play some Judas Priest, or we're going to play some whatever. You make him try out. So in other words, we don't care blah, 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 how good they talk. We care about their behavior. It's all you care about in a rock band, right? Now, guess what? This is how sports works as well. If you want to play for the New England Patriots, do they care what you say, blah, 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 in an interview, if they, or even what your past, credentials were, maybe a little bit about this, but what do? You try out. In other words, get suited up. We're going to throw you the football, and you're either going to sink or you're going to swim. So again, they don't care about interview. They don't care about education, blah, 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 all the stuff that you can get hustled and lied to about. You focus on behavior. Well, how come in the world of hiring people, we don't make people try out? Why not? Well, guess what? I put the entire, I was so fed up. So I had 3 or 4 employees that I had not hired. Somebody else had hired these employees. And I ended up firing all of them because I was not in charge of the hiring process. And I was so fed up with these underperformers, these C and D players. I wanted A players. I want people that make stuff happen. I want people that are resourceful. I want people that aren't going to come back and go, but man, how do I upload a YouTube video? I want people that are going to freaking figure it out, that are adults, right? And so, yeah, I could interview people for a year, but I'm not going to know if they actually are resourceful, if they're actually A players, if they can actually get stuff done and be resourceful, unless I make them try out. And like, in other words, somebody's behavior, you can't fake that very long. You might be able to fake it for a day, maybe 2 days, but you know what? That behavior seeps out of people. They just can't hide behavior. You just can't hide behavior. So throw out everything that you have ever learned or heard about with regards to hiring people. It's all bullshit. Bull crap. Sorry, I'm gonna keep this family friendly. Whoops, I don't know what the heck that was here. Hold on a second. Let me reload that. Oh, let's see. Let me just. There we go. Not sure what happened there, but anyway. So yeah, so after several hiring disasters, it dawned on me, like, everybody in the arts or in sports, they make them try out. They put the emphasis on behavior, right? So let me show you what we did here. So the very first thing is the scorecard, right? And so let me just kind of explain this. And this is kind of like the little boring part of this presentation, but just bear with me. I realized that, when you run an ad, you don't fully think through what skills you need. I mean, literally, look, guys, we're in e-commerce. So they have to be very tech, comfortable, right? They have to be tech comfortable. If they're like still on a PC from 2010 and they're typing in all caps, they're not going to be a fit. I want them Mac-based, right? And I want them very comfortable with things like Google Drive. I want them very comfortable with just doing internet research, all this stuff. And you and I take this stuff for granted. But you know what? 2 of the people, again, of the 4, I didn't hire these 4 people. I kind of adopted them, unfortunately, and I fired them all. But 2 of them, their tech skills really, really poor. Well, we're an online company. We're e-commerce. Everything's online. So they were not a right fit for us. So I made a list of the skills. So they must own a Mac, not PC, because everything we do is Mac-based. That would not be a right fit if everybody on my team is Mac-based and we have one person who goes, well, I can't open that program and I have this problem. It's different on my computer. No, thank you. There's enough warm bodies out there that do have a Mac. Second, they got to have strong internet. So if they are, if they were working in like a Dilbert cube their whole life and their home internet stinks, that's not a right fit because they're going to be working from home, right? Or if you have an office, then that's not an issue. But they got to be fast on a computer, right? That's another skill. So that's the first thing. Make a list of the skills. Literally write them out, okay? This is like literally no more than a 15-minute exercise at a Starbucks. You'll probably see Michael there, right? Working on a PPC Entourage. Wave to Michael when you see him, and you'll be making your list of skills while you're there. But second is list the behaviors that are necessary. So the behavior was they have to be able to work independently because they're going to be working from home. Now, I have 2 rock stars that I love. I mean, I would take a bullet for these 2 guys. One is named Ed. One is named Corey. They went through my Rockstar hiring funnel, and I couldn't be more happy with their development. They are so loyal to me. They would work 24/7 if I asked them to. They are so just awesome, right? And this was one of the first things, though, that I had to make sure that they had this behavior, the ability to work independently. Do you know there's a lot of people that can't work unless a boss is hovering over them, hounding them? That's not going to be a right fit. Somebody who doesn't need hand-holding, right? Who, like, well, give me the 19.3 steps to upload a YouTube video. No, I don't think so. You figure that out, right? That, who's working for who, right? They had to be resourceful. There was a giant book. I can never remember the name of it, but it was kind of a boring book. But the whole subject of the book was how to find A players. And they said, if I had to sum up all my years as a consultant, all my years of research, studying A players, it's this: they have the ability to be resourceful, right? And second, they can execute without needing supportive coaching every moment of the day. There are certain people that they just need to be coached. They need like an emotional blanket, basically. And, it may work for some, but we're fast moving, right? So anyway, I list the skills, the behaviors that I needed, and then I listed the conditions that are necessary, right? This is the other thing. So they got to have a home office. That there can't be barking dogs in the background. They have to have a workspace if there's kids around where they're not going to be constantly interrupted while I'm paying them and all this kind of stuff. They got to own their own computer, strong internet again. And so basically, this is the list that you're going to come up with: skills, the behaviors you want, and the conditions that they're going to be working within. This is kind of like your ideal dream list here, okay? And then this last one is, now you're going to make a list of the tests or the trial tasks that will prove to us that this person demonstrates these skills, these behaviors, and these conditions through their actions. In other words, this is how we're going to make them try out, okay? They're going to do a tryout, okay? So I'm going to show you the funnel. I've actually left my funnel almost virtually the same, even the original video that I used. I just had to edit out the name of my brand, and which was only about 18 seconds of a 10-minute video. But here is what I did first and foremost here, okay? I think you guys are gonna love this. I hope you guys love this, because this is really a game changer for your business. First of all, we want a deal flow. So deal flow is a concept, from the world of business, but it just means like, I wanted a wide enough net, right, that I could get a wide variety and a quantity of good candidates. So now some of my conditions were, I wanted local people. I wanted people within 1 hour driving distance from my home in Rochester. So that gave me 3 cities. That gave me the city of Syracuse, the city of Buffalo, and of course, Rochester. The reason I wanted local is because you simply can't replicate the experience of having somebody come over to your house, sitting side by side, showing them stuff on a computer, doing a whiteboard meeting, meeting up at a warehouse. Like for example, Corey and Ed, me and Emily, we all met up in this town nearby Rochester to tour this guy's warehouse and fulfillment center. And we didn't end up using this warehouse, but it was a great experience. And you just can't replicate this local thing if all you do is have VAs or people that are outside of your locale. I fought this for years. I mean, keep in mind, I had nightclubs. I had over like 100 employees at one point. And, there were times when you had that many employees that I felt like I was running like an adult daycare center, right? Everybody had drama. But then again, that's the nature of the nightclub business. But it was really a mistake of mine to be so limited. And, when I went back to local people, our business really got stable. The camaraderie was there. The loyalty was there. We really had become friends and colleagues. So I really encourage you to consider a real employee, like real staff, not all like independent contractors. Okay. So anyway, I hit up Rochester, Syracuse, and Buffalo. All right. So we'd have those 3 cities. They could all drive to my home if need be. And I also wanted to hit up several want ad boards. So I did a LinkedIn ad, which was the worst result. It was the most expensive and the most arrogant type of leads. I hit up the Rochester, Syracuse, and Buffalo Craigslist. I ran this on Monster, ZipRecruiter, and some college job boards, which I thought would work out well. That was a bust also. Because I got people that are, from China that I couldn't legally hire, and it would have been a nightmare with the paperwork. Or I got people that, hey, it's my senior year and I can work for 3 months and get all this experience and I'm going to leave your ass. So LinkedIn, I would not recommend that. Believe it or not, Craigslist and a regional Craigslist, Monster, and ZipRecruiter, I got almost all of our leads from. Okay. Now, I did not do things the traditional way. So I had to get special approvals from Craigslist, Monster, and ZipRecruiter. But let me show you this. Here is a screenshot of the LinkedIn ad I wrote. Now, the verbiage here is important because I wanted good quality candidates. And it says business assistant for CEO needed for fast growing e-commerce company. Now, you're going to love what I did here, but the goal here in this process is again, who's working for who? I didn't want to spend all my day reading resumes. Resumes don't fit into my new model of making people try out via their behaviors. And I also didn't even want the resume because certain people, like, in that movie, The Hangover, and how they do like a funny kind of, slow motion scene when they're in a strip club, like they got a stack of these dollar bills and they're like making it rain and go, that's how job candidates look at these job postings. They just shoot out their resume without even reading the freaking job description. So you end up wasting your time because they're making it rain. They're submitting 500 freaking resumes. No, thank you. I did something totally different. I made them all watch a video. I wouldn't even let them apply without watching a video. And again, I provided you the funnel, the click funnels that I built, so you can add this. I mean, you guys will be able to implement this right away. And don't freak out. Like I say, say this position pays X to Y. You pick whatever you want to pay. So just, don't be literal with this, but I'm just showing you exactly what I did. I'm just going to read part of this. Full-time position pays 50 to 70K depending on experience. You'll be working directly for the CEO of a fast-growing e-commerce business that sells 2 popular brands to consumers. You'll be in charge of helping the CEO to launch new e-commerce products and release new ones. If you like the idea of launching products successfully and helping to research new product ideas and bringing them to market, then you'll love this position. Now, I just want to mention something. The goal of the want ad and the video is to attract and repel. I had both goals in mind. So look at some of the things I say. The type of person we're looking for, obsessed with precision and detail. Now, why do you think I want that? Because again, that was one of the behaviors that was on my list because they're going to be following my SOPs. Organized, great ability to follow through. Can follow systems and checklists that I've created for flawless execution of tasks. Certain people will, oh, that's not me, right? Attract and repel. Resourceful, someone who can make things happen without needing hand-holding at every turn. Pride in your work, can't sleep until something's done perfectly. Someone who's seeking to be part of something special, to have their work mean something important. What's in it for you? This is critical. This is just like a sales letter, guys. Working directly with Ben Cummings, CEO of blah, 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 would be the single most useful education you could get. You'd literally be getting paid to learn, since Ben is considered one of the foremost experts in e-commerce branding and growth strategies today. For example, you might be asked to come up with a new product line for us to release in our e-commerce store, or implement the product launch of our latest e-commerce product to make it more visible on Amazon. You'll be learning firsthand how to research and conceptualize product ideas that we will actually manufacture and release out in the marketplace. Where would you ever learn that in school? Plus, you'll have the opportunity to be working directly with our executive team, who are all known and respected in the e-commerce field. Now, good copy, right? You write this like a sales letter and you make it stand out. Now, look what we do here, though. If you're interested, here's the next step. The following link will take you to a video that Ben Cummings created to explain this position in more detail, to identify what we're looking for in our ideal candidate. If you see yourself as a candidate, please watch the video here and learn how to apply for this position. So let me just show you this, okay? Now, again, this is almost exactly Here, I'm gonna play this a little bit.
Hi, my name is Ben Cummings, and thanks for taking a look at our job posting. So I am CEO of, which is a fast-growing e-commerce business, which means we sell various retail products.
So anyway, I mean, I literally filmed that looking kind of schleppy, right? And I did that on purpose. I didn't want the type of person that is like skeptical of like, wait, are they a real business? I'm like, you know what? This is who I am. This is how I talk. This is how I look. You know, scary, right? You know, if you compare my hairline to that Frenzy poster, it's vastly different. But yeah, I built this in ClickFunnels. Now I replaced these two fake brands because I didn't want to reveal my brands to you guys. But this is the actual video. I just again, I cut out just the 2 short sections where I revealed like the brand names, but I wanted you to see what actually worked. It's a 10-minute video. And so, you know, 2 things happen at this stage. 2 things happen. Number 1, they become more emotionally invested in the hiring process. I'm not just another company that they're just shooting off a resume to. Number 2, we put up a barrier to even get the resume to us, because here's what we do. We still don't allow them to get me the resume. So guess what we do? This is the first behavioral test. Click here to apply for this position. Now check this out. To apply for this full-time position, please complete the following information about your experience. Now look at all the questions that we ask. Only at the bottom do I let them upload the resume, but they have to do all this stuff first. Now, let me show you what we asked for. This is literally verbatim. Their full name, the best email address, their phone. It's amazing. Even though I say in there, I only want people in and around Rochester, I get like phone numbers that are coming from like South Florida, and the guy's working at like a Chick-fil-A. I'm not kidding you. Their mailing address, right? Now this is all based on, remember what I said earlier, the skills list I came up with, the behaviors list, and the conditions. What type of computer do you own? Choose one below. Select your main desktop computer you're most comfortable using. Mac laptop, PC, or none. I don't own a computer. Please help us understand why you selected this answer. Well, guess what I'm going to do with all the people that have a PC or say, oh, I don't even have any computer at home. Done, because they don't meet my criteria of being Mac-based. Generally speaking, no offense to those of you that are still using PCs at all, because PCs have gotten better, but just as a general rule of thumb, people on Macs tend to be more tech savvy, just as a general rule of thumb. Not always, but just as a general rule of thumb, okay? What was something that Ben said on his video that caused you to be interested in applying? So guess what? I forced them right up front, you know, if they try to skip watching that 10-minute video, well, they're not going to be able to answer that. Or if they try to whip it out of the rear end, we're going to know. Also, though, a lot of these questions show me how they think. So if I start getting answers like this, well, I'm looking for a position that will give me freedom to learn and me this and me that. It's not about you, dude. It's about making my job easier as CEO. If you don't have the street hustle and the personality enough to sell a little bit and try to be a good candidate, if you're so self-absorbed that you're making it about you, I don't want you. And you'd be shocked. I'd probably say 10% of the people said, well, I'm looking for this and I want to make sure this job does this. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? So this will show you, this will be a window into how they think before you waste any time even talking to them or even have a first touch with them. A first touch meaning, you know, like a touch point, right? You don't want to touch them. That'd be called sexual harassment. I mean, a touch point. What past experience would make you a good candidate for this job? Again, if you see, well, I was a line cook at a Chick-fil-A. Well, dude, you see the position is for a marketing assistant to the CEO for an e-commerce company, right? So again, you see their behaviors. The behaviors start to bleed out right here, right here. It's amazing. What personal traits and behaviors would make you a good candidate for this job? Please summarize your business background and experience. What do you consider your greatest talents and strengths? That's an interesting one. Why are you interested in a new position? You'll get some interesting responses to that. Well, my wife just left me, so I have to leave my job because my wife was sleeping with the boss, something like that, right? You'll get weird ones here. In 150 words or less, describe your ideal day. Again, now this is more of a creative thinking thing. This will show me how resourceful they are on thinking on their feet, because this is kind of open-ended. Who are 3 references you've worked with in the past that would, and what would you expect them to say your best talents are? Interesting, right? What else should we know about you? Prior to being selected, are you able to send a video outlining why you would be a good candidate and demonstrating some of your skills? Now, I put that in there, and this last one, because you know what? Certain people are going to bail at this point. They're like, oh, well, this is too much work. Well, do we want them if it's too much work? I don't think so. If they don't know how to upload a video, they don't know how to make a video, they're not going to even want to continue. And this one is key. This is going to plant the seed. I want them to respond to, prior to being selected, are you willing to take a series of tests and or trial tasks to test whether or not you'd be successful in this position? Boom. Because guess what they're going to do? I call it Ben's Apprentice. Sort of like the TV show that Donald Trump used to be the star of called The Apprentice. They'd have to complete a series of tasks to win. This is kind of like Ben's Apprentice. They're all going to compete, and the final 1 or 2, that are left standing are the ones you're going to hire. And by the way, I only intended to hire 1 person. I had so many good candidates at the end. I had 3 candidates. I was dying to hire all 3 of them. And I hired 2 of them, even though I just needed 1. Corey and Ed were just so fantastic. I just couldn't let them go. They were such a right fit. And then only at the bottom do they upload the file. And then when they click the finished survey, it just shows a message saying, hey, we're going to review these. And if you're accepted, we will contact you. So basically, don't call us, we'll call you. Now, what's great about this is they can't bug you. They can't really contact you. They have to go through this process. Does that make sense? This is killer. Now, this is a ClickFunnels template. And yes, on the bottom of this SOP that you have, I have the 1-click. Well, here's the demo so you can see it yourself. Okay. And this is the 1-click, so you can add this whole funnel. Now, the one thing you're going to have to do on your own, I can't give this to you, is you're going to have to embed here some sort of a survey form. And there's free ones out there. There's paid ones. There's things like SurveyMonkey. There's things called, there's a service called Polldaddy, P-O-L-L. That's what I use, Polldaddy. So you just basically do any of these survey forms, that are out there, and you click the embed code, and you just put the embed code right here into the ClickFunnels template, and it just shows up there. Okay. You can't do these type of forms natively in ClickFunnels, so you need SurveyMonkey or Polldaddy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I mean, buy it for 1 month. Spend $20-$30. Again, I think they allow you up to like 30 submissions for free, but just buy the month, damn it, because what's your time worth, right? You want as many candidates as possible. Okay, so that is step 1. Well, actually, they're at step 3 at that point, because what have they done so far? They have read the ad. And by the way, I just show the LinkedIn ad. It's the same exact ad that was posted in Craigslist, on Monster, and on ZipRecruiter. And again, I had to explain to them, look, they don't get to apply. They have to watch the video and go through my hiring process. And so I was able to get it approved on all these platforms. Okay. But, it's a little non-traditional. And guess what? That's why it works. So this is hoop number 1, reading kind of a long ad, right? And kind of telling who I want and who I don't want. Then they got to sit and watch this video for 10 minutes. And then they got to fill out this long form. So right out of the gate, the quality level is vastly higher. So here is the direct link to the Polldaddy survey, just so you guys have this. So this is what it looks like natively in Polldaddy, but I just wanted you guys to be able to see that just in case you wanted to. Now, here is an actual example of some of the type replies we got. So I'm not going to show you their names, but look at this person owns a Mac laptop, and he wrote, ever since high school, I've only worked with Mac products. It allows me to get my work done quickly and efficiently. And then like, what was something that Ben said on his video that caused you to be interested? I mean, look at how much time and attention. And he or she wrote, to believe it or not, I was taking notes while watching the video. There were many things that stood out to me. The moment Ben started talking about being passionate about marketing and going above and beyond to grow into business, I knew I was the guy for the job. And like, look at this guy's background. I recently moved back from San Fran, where I was working for Oracle. Ben mentioned in his video how many people get sucked into the habit of just clocking in and out of your job. That is what began frustrating me with the corporate world. I have a BA in public relations from the University of SoCal. USC has given me the biggest passion for marketing. Being a small fish in an ocean filled with sharks made it very difficult to showcase my skills and talents. I have so much to offer and many great ideas to bring to the table. I feel that I would thrive in a company that is the perfect size where I could actually have a say in how we should do things. Boom. Here's an example of a bad one. Now, first of all, look at, you're going to see now, I made this comment that generally speaking, people with PCs aren't very, not generally speaking as tech savvy. Well, look, they have a PC. They don't even have a desktop. They have a freaking iPad and they're writing in all caps. All caps tells me they're not tech savvy, right? What was something Ben said? Learning new stuff and help Ben to marketing the product. What past experience would make you a good candidate? I was a business owner and I almost know what the people want in the life. See what I'm saying? In the past, I'm wasting my time going through resumes and then, getting hustled. And it's like, guys, the behaviors bleed out. It's like giving the guy the drumsticks to learn. He's a disaster playing the drums. He can't keep a beat. Boom, done, right? This is only the first part. Wait till you see the hoopathon that we put them through. So let's talk about the next step, the hiring hoops, the tests, and the trials that's going to make them prove behavior to me, prove the behavior, okay? So again, welcome to Ben's Apprentice. And, Ed is the person that I hired, and Corey, but Ed will actually be listening to this. And Ed, if he were on this live webinar, would tell you that every single thing I'm telling you is true and accurate to a T. And he thrived when going through this process. And Ed is a freaking rock star. And in fact, Ed just got a couple nice bonuses from me, right, Ed? Because he is so valuable to me now. He just stepped up. It took him a while to learn because there's a lot of skills to learn, but Ed is just like my right-hand guy. He's just invaluable. So, so I needed a series of tasks, okay, that I'm not going to pay them to do, that would prove to me the behavior of being able to work independently, prove to me they were tech savvy, no all caps or, So I want to show you, and these are the word for word emails. And Emily was in charge of this process. I said, Emily, I'm going to write all the emails for you. I'll make the tests for you, but I don't want to get involved till the tail end, okay? So these are the tests. First of all is a video request. They are required to make me a 3-minute video with why you think you'd be a good candidate for the position, okay? And I'll explain the reasoning why. The second was they have to watch one of my podcasts, okay? And then they had to make a 1-page summary in writing or a video of what they learned, okay? They had to take a speed typing test and send me a screenshot. I got that idea from a Tim Francis because guess what? That shows their motivation level, right? Because they can keep retaking that speed typing test. So if they just have an epic fail and they send me that screenshot, I'm like, wow, you're not very motivated or very resourceful. They can, the smart ones will keep taking it and then like keep trying to get a fast speed, screenshot that to me and send it. By the way, what do you think I did with anybody who goes, well, how do I send a screenshot? What do you think I said to everybody who said, well, how do I upload the video? In fact, the way I word stuff is, again, they can't help themselves. I make them prove they're resourceful. Okay. Then you guys are going to laugh. I made them watch as a final step, my entire Pigs and Hops, webinar. I gave them a spreadsheet. They had to then implement it using my SOPs, and they had to, on the spreadsheet, give me their top 5 candidates and why. Now, what's funny is I can't get half of you to do Pigs and Hops properly. Okay, I'm just teasing, kind of. And yet, it's unbelievable. I'm going to show you, again, on their own, unpaid, because, they were motivated to be successful, which is what you want. If they start griping about, well, I got to get payment, you're not a right fit. This is a type person that is going to be a clock puncher. Oh, wait, it's 5:01. Wait, you actually want me to work past 5:01? We don't want that mentality, right? And then there was a couple interviews. So if they made it that far, then Emily would interview the remaining candidates, and then the final 3 that she thought did a decent interview. Then I did the final interviews, and then I hired them. Let me show you the first email. You'll love this. Urgent regarding business assistant position. Hi, thank you for your interest in the position for yada yada and filling out the initial application. I'll be handling the initial steps here to identify if we are good fit. Whoops, there's my typo. If we're a good fit, and lead that into an interview with our CEO, Ben Cummings. I enjoyed reading your responses, and I'd love to move things forward. In order to help move along our discussion, can you send us a video of you sharing a few things that you think we should know about you? It does not have to be a big production and can be simply done with any smartphone. It's just a creative and resourceful way of letting us know a bit more about you, and it's how we begin our hiring process. It's also something I can show our CEO, Ben Cummings, to help us get to know you better. In your video, tell us what you like best about the video clip from Ben that you watched when you initially applied. Also state something to the effect, Ben, I can help you with blank by doing blank. So what does this do? Following instructions, and we'll see if they can even get us the video, right? Tell us what we could count on you providing. What could the future look like with the things you could do in helping us? And what do you feel you'd be able to best contribute to our company, both short and long term? Okay. Ideally, tell us how you can become a valuable asset for Ben and help him with all the things he shared in his video about the position. Also tell us, if you were to sit down with Ben directly, what would you say would be the reasons to hire you versus other candidates? If you can get that video completed and to me in the next couple of days, I'll follow up and tell you what the next steps are in this process. Sound good? Thank you again. I look forward to seeing your video and talking to you soon. Now, notice what I don't tell them. I don't say, make sure you upload it to YouTube or make sure you upload it to Google Drive. Okay? So let me show you some stuff here. Let me just show you stuff. Let me just pause my screen. I don't want to reveal anybody's names on here. All right. I'm going to show you the type of behaviors this will flush out. Because guess what? This is a disguised test to see if they need freaking hand-holding. Oh, well, how do I do it? How do I upload it? Do it. Right? So let me just show you some bad, non-resourceful things, okay, that we got. I think you guys will kind of appreciate this. Check this out. I'm going to blow this up. This is an example of bad behavior. We got Alana wrote, hi, Emily. I apologize. I had an unexpected emergency arise, so I have been away from my email. I'm still highly interested in this opportunity. I would really like to submit a video if I'm still able to do so. I'm working this evening, all day tomorrow. I can have it by Sunday, Monday after delays. Again, I realize. Done. Proven behavior cannot follow up. You might have an unexpected emergency. What? You've never heard of just getting back to somebody real quick? Done. Here's another one. Okay, you guys are like this. No worries at all. I've certainly made that mistake before. Honestly, based on Ben's video, this sounds like it might be an amazing opportunity for me, so I can be nothing except very excited. Feel the same about me and my responses. I'll even let you call me Miles. I have an all-day family engagement tomorrow on part of Saturday, and I will put the marking of the video at the top of my priority list for the rest of the weekend. Creating is no problem at all. I have a webcam on my laptop. Do you need a video set by Sunday or Monday AM, just in case it takes me a free practice? Either way, just make the damn video. I don't like this behavior. Don't tell me about the destination. Don't tell me about the plane ride. Just give me the destination, right? Again, people can't help it. Their behaviors just burst forth, no matter how much they try to hide it, okay? Let me show you some good ones that we got here, okay? This is Sarah. Now, I wasn't able to hire Sarah, which is a shame because Corey, Ed, and Sarah were my final best 3 candidates. I would have hired them all if I could have justified it. This is the kind of thing I like. Emily, here's my video. Boom. I look forward to learning about next steps. She didn't ask how to get us the video. She didn't ask how to upload it. Hey, there's something called Google if you need to learn that stuff, right? Google it, figure it out. So again, there's that resourceful thing. Let me show you her video. Okay. So, hey.
Hi there. Thank you for the opportunity to apply for the business assistant position. My name is Sarah Roman, and welcome my kitchen. This is the hub of our household and where I spend a lot of my time. So
Now, look, I'm not. It's great, right? She's like doing a whole presentation. She's got her business suit on, and she's she's thought this through. It looks like she's even reading off of something, and she probably took numerous takes. This thing is 7 minutes long, and you can just see that she is very prepared. And anyway, it's great. You know, I can't share this video with you because, you know, I just want to keep Sarah's last name and stuff private. But you will see in 2 seconds those that make the cut versus those that don't. It's not like I got to give you any more guidance. You're going to know. And again, if you have to handhold them through it, they're done. If they give you every excuse in a book, they're done. If they give you their life story without just making the damn video, they're done, right? So this right here is a hoop that will get rid of a lot of the dead weight. Step 2, next step for business assistant position. Hi, Sarah. Thanks so much for your video. We really enjoyed it, and I also shared it with our CEO, Ben Cummings. I'm interested in taking the next step and ultimately leading up to a follow-up interview. One of the things our company's big on are the values of our company. One of the simplest ways to do that is give someone an understanding of the type of mindset that someone will have working with us. What we'd like you to do is create an outline or summary after reviewing this podcast that Ben recently did and give us a summary about it. You can do the review in written, audio, or video format. And I link to one of my podcasts. You guys all have permission to use that same podcast. This is a good one because it's how to breed raving fans for your e-commerce business. So it'll tell, you know, it's really good content, and it's a longer podcast. So you would just change this and just say, hey, you know, this is a guy who does a podcast that has a philosophy very similar to ours. We want you to watch his podcast and summarize it in written audio or a video format. That way you guys won't have to, you know, come up with this content on your own, you know, just to give me this link. Regardless, it will give you a further understanding of some of the things that are a good fit to work together. And you'll learn a lot by going through the process. I look forward to seeing your response, report, and follow up to take this to the next step. Okay, now look at what we got. Okay, I'll show you one of them. This is Sarah again. Now check this out. She not only did a summary here, but she embedded another video.
hello from sunny Florida, and thank you again for the opportunity to.
So like, this is all good stuff. And, you know, this is just fantastic. And we, again, you know, you're going to have drop off. There's going to be people that will never get back to you about making a video. Then you're going to get bad videos. Then you're going to get people that you'll never hear back from when you follow up about the podcast. Their commitment level is low. They're not the type that you want. It's kind of like very, you know, Darwinian, this process. Assignment request, speed typing test. Hi, I received your summary of Ben's podcast. Thank you for emailing that to us. I've shared it with the CEO, Ben, so he could see what you made and the work you put into that. I'd like to invite you to the next step in the process. We need you to take a typing speed test so we can see how fast you are working on a computer. You'll be spending most of your time on a computer because we are, after all, an e-commerce company. Go to this link and take this typing speed test, and then paste the link to the screenshot showing us your score. Notice we don't tell them how to take a screenshot. Guess what we did with the people that said, well, how do I take a screenshot? One of my #1 behaviors I need is resourcefulness, okay? And you can go to that site. You'll see it's a very simple speed test, and you can kind of play with it, and you'll see that somebody very quickly understands that they can easily retake it time and time again and screenshot you a faster result. Okay, now here's the final step. This is kind of the coup de grace. They've made it this far. They are able to follow instructions. They are proving their behavior, that they're resourceful, they're independent, they're motivated, they're rock stars so far. This is the final, like, you know, Ben's Apprentice hoop. This is a big one. It says urgent, next important step. Hi, good news. The CEO has specifically asked me to contact you about doing a test project for him so he can see how well you work independently. Specifically, we would like you to perform a trial task to test whether or not you'd be successful in this position. The task is representative of the kind of day-to-day things you'll be doing in this position if we hire you. Here is the trial task. watch this instructional video made by Ben. You need to watch from, now this is over an hour and a half to learn Ben's pigs and hops product picking system. Boom. Here are the SOPs that pertain to the task. Boom, boom, boom. Now this is overwhelming to somebody who's never even heard of, e-commerce. I mean, who hasn't heard of e-commerce, but you guys know what I mean. Number 3, I want you to use my pigs and hops system to find 5 potential products in the pets category. Use a Google spreadsheet, put your picks on it, then share the link to the Google Doc when you're done. I realize this task is totally new to you. Do your best. Now, I'm asking a lot. I'm making them figure out how to do a Google spreadsheet. I'm making them figure out how to share the Google Doc link with me, right? There's a lot of stuff in here that they have to get right. You only need to do the product selection. Skip steps number 5, merchant words, to number 7, profit margin. You don't need to perform those steps in our product analysis. After you've watched the training video, email me to request the login details to the Kipper tool that you will need. If you can get this trial test completed and to me in the next day or 2, I'll be able to show it to Ben. And at that point, we will assess the next steps with you. Thanks again. I look forward to seeing how you do. Just as an aside, make sure that once you have shared the password, that as soon as you're done with the hiring process, that you change that password to any tool that you might be, giving people access to. So, now somebody who's jaded, who's hired people, they say, no one would ever do this. Really? Really? Okay, well, let's take a look. First of all, here is one candidate who is great, and we didn't even hire this guy, but I'm just showing you how many good candidates we got. This is Chris. Hi, Emily. Here's my spreadsheet. Boom, couple notes. I included products that were a no-go to show that I went through these products, but in the end didn't find 5 in the pets category that seemed worthy of a go final verdict. Let me know if you prefer I do more work in another category, but I think the spreadsheet demonstrates my overall understanding of the process. I mean, he's thinking about this deeply. He's never been exposed to this, and he's thinking already about this. Number 2, I also inserted some comments. It's amazing, right? I also inserted some comments to briefly explain my thinking in some situations, often with differentiation. I didn't spend a ton of time digging into the topic for this trial task, but feels like one area I'd like to learn more about. So much to explore. Boom. Now, could you ever garner this type of 3D insight by looking at a resume and doing an interview? I don't think so. Look this is his spreadsheet he made for us. Again, I joke, but I can't get half of you to do this properly, right? And, I said they only have to do the first 4 here, right here. Okay, right here. But look, he even did this and boom. Now, I didn't care if they were right or wrong. I literally glanced at this. And by the way, I know enough about, the pigs and hops process at the time that these actually were all good ones that he found, which is just kind of interesting. And this was his pigs sheet, right? So there's 2 steps. There's the pigs, which is the product ID generation, and my hop system. But look at this, right? Amazing. So I hope you guys appreciate the genius of this Rockstar hiring funnel. I've never seen anybody lay this out like this. I came up with it out of desperation. I was so sick of bad staff. Now, after that, I'm not going to read this. This is the interview that they have with Emily here, and we mentioned that it's a Skype chat. By the way, if they say, well, Skype, I don't have a Skype. No, you know what? By the time they get this far, all of them, whether they knew Skype or not, guess what? They understood Skype. They made sure of it. They didn't tell us that they didn't get it, right? Now, I just want to share something with you here. This is really interesting. Now, something that you will not appreciate fully until you use my Rockstar hiring funnel. As a candidate goes through each step of the process, you might think they would get defeated and demoralized and bummed out. Do you know just the opposite happened? If you ask Corey, Ed, and Sarah, they will tell you that their interest, their intrigue, their excitement, and their motivation and their loyalty improved, skyrocketed as they made it into the final steps. And when, Corey, and it's a true story, Corey told me that when he got the call that he was going to be our pick, that he was hired, he said he ran into his bedroom where his fiance was still asleep, started jumping on the bed and said, I got it. I got it. I got it. Like he'd won the lotto. And you know what? He should have been proud because he worked his ass off. And you know what? I was proud for him. I was pumped. This is such a better system. It's like, that I was saying, you wouldn't marry the first girl that you met. And, you don't hire the first person just from an interview, right? This is a way for you to date, metaphorically, please don't date your employees, that's bad, but metaphorically, before you get married. Now, I will say this, that even beyond this, I still did not hire them full-time as an employee. So they had a 90-day trial period, and I knew, and they knew this, 90-day trial period as an independent contractor, okay, as an IC. And they knew that they had to perform for 90 days before they'd be officially hired as an employee. Because, as an employee, I got to get them a paycheck, and there's different legal requirements. There's different, I got to get workman's comp insurance and blah, 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 blah. And you know what? We still have to do one more kind of, period where we're going to date a little bit more for 90 days before they're officially hired. Again, I use the term dating metaphorically, okay? In case some labor board's listening. This has just turned out so unbelievably well. When I was not in control of the hiring, the 4 people sucked, they are gone. In control of the hiring, making them go through the Rockstar funnel, made them better people, more excited, more into the whole position, a feeling of accomplishment and pride in getting the job. It made me feel unbelievable about them. I had way more trust right out of the gate. And it's just been a marriage made in heaven. Again, I just got to give a shout out to Ed, unbelievable, Corey, unbelievable. And, Paul has been with me for over almost 10 years now. I just got lucky with him. I didn't have this to figure it out. And then, we also have VAs, right, that are part-time positions. And using FreeUp, they're already pre-vetted. So, again, this is a different thing. So I have VAs that I use differently than my CT. So you want to put your core team, like people that are going to be with you as real employees, full-time employees, people that are going to be working with you over the long haul. This is the appropriate funnel for them. You wouldn't want to put a FreeUp person through this Rockstar funnel. It's not appropriate because they're essentially like freelancers. They're paid by FreeUp. And I guess if you're willing to pay them, to go through the funnel, you could do that. But remember, these VAs are pre-vetted by Nathan. If you're not happy with them, he will, replace them. So I have VAs that were pre-vetted by Nathan that have worked out great. Now, I'm going to be honest with you though, the VAs that I hire are, like more customer service oriented, kind of lower skill type of things. Any really critical high level skill, I want them part of my core team. Or they're probably going to be a freelancer because I may not need some super high level skill, like somebody to dig into the code for some API for, Klaviyo, for example. It doesn't warrant a full-time hire. That's more of a freelancer. Again, you can't expect a freelancer for free to go through this hiring funnel. This is only applicable for your core team, full-time position, where you're paying market rate salary, okay? But this is a freaking game changer, and I hope you like this. Just want to show you a couple things. I had everybody take a Kolbe, okay? And I also give you, by the way, just because I want to give you everything that you could need. These are the exact interview questions that Emily asked over Skype, okay? And it was Skype video, so, you could look the person eye to eye. And if they passed the initial interview with Emily, this is where we buy them a Kolbe test, and we give them the link to it. We give them the code. We even tell them what my Kolbe score is here. We tell them it's not about passing or failing, just we're looking for that. Now, I want to show you the benefits that we offer because you might find this interesting. because we're a small company, we can't afford much as far as the benefits go. No health insurance. We do offer a 401k to all our team members starting in 2017, and we use some of you that are in growth mode. We use a company called Paychex with an X. They're awesome. They do all of our payroll processing for us, and they also will handle all the 401k stuff. I try to handle that myself for about 8 months. It was a nightmare. Just, we pay them to do it. And Corey and Ed love it because we can offer 401k. They're trying to save money and we match. I probably have this wrong. Ed, if you're listening, don't quote me because I can never remember, but I think we match up to 3% or something like that. I can't remember. Paid time off and paid holidays. So here's how we do paid time off. So they get 2 weeks of paid time off per year. But, if you're a brand new hire, it's not fair, to the business to say, okay, thanks for hiring me. I've been here a week. Now I'm taking 2 weeks off, and then they quit or something, right? So the way that pretty much all, corporations do it is it's that paid time off is accrued for every month that they work. So basically they get close to 1 day off for every month that they work. So mathematically, since there's 12 months, the paid time off is accrued at 0.833 days per month, meaning a new hire could not immediately get to blah, 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 blah. And then they get 10 paid holidays per year. So like Christmas and things like that, and 2 floating holidays. Now, I just tell you how great Corey and Ed are. Like, they don't even ask about taking off all of the traditional paid holidays. If they got to work an hour or two, they do it. They don't complain. They're just such a pleasure to work with. And I so hard, try not to take advantage of that. I'm very cognizant of it. I am so appreciative of it. And I'm telling you, when you hire rock stars, you're going to get such a different experience. And by the way, rock stars only want to work with other rock stars you'll find. So like we tried to bring on somebody on a very short trial period. And my 2 rock stars said, she's not cutting it. And you know what? They were right. And if you tolerate non-rock star behavior, it really pisses off your rock stars because they're thinking at some level, well, wait a minute, he's putting up with this crappy behavior. Why am I working so hard? And you know what? They're right. I would think the same way too. So if you actually tolerate underperformers, they bring the whole organization to its knees, right? So anyway, I just give you some practical stuff like how to actually purchase the Kolbe test, which one to buy, just so you have all this, and all that kind of stuff. All right. So look, these are the funnel stats. How many viewed my want ads? I have no way to track that because like Craigslist and some of these other services don't show how many people saw the ad and then actually went to watch the video. But I know from ClickFunnels that 434 people actually saw that page that had my video. 26% saw the application page, that second page. 69, look at that, from 434 to just 69 that actually filled out the application. So 40% filled out the application. And how many good candidates made it? 3, which is about 1%. And you know what's funny? In that book I had mentioned earlier that I can never remember the title of, that I wouldn't recommend anyway, who said the key is being resourceful. Guess what he said? The rock stars only comprise about 1% of the people that will apply for a job. Isn't that interesting? So there you go. Literally a game changer for me. So here's some resources, and I'll take some quick Q&A because we're not done yet. I still have a couple other amazing things to share with you, but this is the link so you can watch the video. Again, it's almost verbatim the original, except for about 18 seconds that I cut out where I didn't want you to hear my brand name. These are the 2 funnel steps. And then here's the 1 click where you can add the ClickFunnels, those are 2 web pages right into your ClickFunnels account. So you're good to go. All right. So let's take some questions. Jason says, does Google Forms work in ClickFunnels? Oh, that's a good question. I'm sure they do. So Google Forms basically lets you do kind of a poll daddy kind of thing. I mean, it'll certainly be quick to find out as long as you have a way to embed. Because in ClickFunnels, actually, I'm going to show you real quick because I'll be teaching you guys something later here. In ClickFunnels, where is it here? So like cover your eyes because I'm going to show you this cool template. But see, there's a way to put custom JavaScript in, and so this is where you would just drop in the embed code. Obviously, not into this funnel, but in the other funnel that I'm going to, that you can add to your here. I'll just this one right here. Okay. All right. So other questions. Yeah, so Mark says that you can create these easily in Google Forms. Great. Dave says, outstanding. Thanks, Dave. Mona says, brilliant interview process. Good. Kieran says, love it. Wish I'd known this before hiring my last team in the corporate world. It's funny, I gave this presentation to a room full of heavy hitters, guys running multi-million dollar companies, and they needed like something soft for the table because their jaws hit the floor. They said that was the best presentation they'd ever seen on this topic, and they all said the same thing. So I'm glad you guys are liking it. Michael says, it's awesome, dude. Chris says, do you use Google Suite for your team? I'm going to actually cover that next when I talk about frictionless management. Shorter answer is yes. What resources do you use to determine market value compensation? I don't use any resources. I just, based it on, I mean, look, I live in Rochester. I kind of know approximately, what a decent salary is and also what we could afford. We're not some huge company. Hans says, Ben, at what point in your business do you think it's a good time to hire someone full-time? Well, my regret is I didn't hire full-time faster, So, I mean, other than the obvious answers like, you're profitable, right? And ideally you have more than one product on Amazon because if that product gets suppressed or banned, then, how are you going to pay your full-timer? So you probably want some ASIN diversity. You want to be profitable. I would say, give yourself 6 months to grow your Amazon business, to really get a good feel for things. And I would say if you have the growth, if you're profitable and you feel like you're ready, I would say do it. Again, I would say, I did hire people very, very early on, but because of reasons I won't bore you with, I was not in control of that hiring process. I could have been, I should have been, but I wasn't. I relied on somebody else, and that was really a mistake. I really knew what the position entailed more. It is so critical since I was going to be working with them that I should have been in charge. The moment I was in charge, I rebuilt the hiring process. Boom, we got the result. And I bet you'll find the same thing. Okay. Robert says, as amazing as ever been. Sucking up will get you everything. Thank you so much. John says, OMG, so much makes great sense. Agree. We should have done this on my last team hire at work. Christine in all caps says, if only I had the system back in my corporate world hiring days. Yes. And she did it in all caps. Thank you. I got it, Christine. I got it. Jason says, I did a similar thing to hire my last VA and it rocked. Oh, that's right. Jason heard me just lecture about this briefly at my Vegas event. He loved it. And so I'm so glad that, that you did something like this. Great. Dan says, totally outside of the box thinking. Thank you, Dan. Jason says, thank you. Jason says, I like this better than FreeUp as they've given me some untrained people and wanted to charge as they were fully trained. I mean, like using this to hire better than FreeUp. Yeah. I don't think any of us would be able to pull this off to put somebody that we hire from Upwork or a true freelancer or somebody who works for another company like FreeUp. I mean, it probably wouldn't really work that way to put them through these trial tasks unless you're willing to pay them. So I believe, and maybe I'm wrong because Jason was able to pull this off by hiring a VA, but I believe this is more suited towards a true full-time employee locally. All right, awesome. I'm glad you guys are liking this. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I was a little concerned that maybe this would be kind of, kind of like above some of your pay grade, and I just mean in the sense that like, hey, Ben, we're still growing our Amazon business, and this isn't appropriate. But I'm so glad you guys see the process. And by the way, I will just say, not all positions do you have to take them through this intense of a hiring funnel. But I think even if you're brand new and you want to hire somebody part-time locally, give them a couple of these pieces, because it will again flesh out the behaviors that you're looking for. All right, great. Let's move on to frictionless management. So Ben, great. I used your ideas to hire a core team, to hire VAs from FreeUp, to hire freelancers. I just built a team, but now what? Well, do you ever get the feeling like, hey, like who's working for who? Like I've gone on these hiring sprees where like I'm just like inundated and I feel like I'm working for them versus like the other way around, right? Now, part of that is because they really want to do a good job, okay? And I always have to remind myself of that. I was joking with Ed. I said, Ed, Ed is such a rock star now, but in the early days, he was so green behind the ears because it was all brand new to him that I had to be very patient. And by nature, I'm not very patient. And I just had to like constantly remind myself, this is new to him. And he wants to do a good job. He didn't show up to work not to do a good job. He wants to do a good job. It's my responsibility as the leader of my business to train him, to give him the resources, to buy the courses that he needs, and give him some time and space to develop. And he's flourished, right? But, I think one of the things that Ed will tell you early on, the reason why, Ed and Corey just instantly took to my business organization is because of the frictionless management systems that he was able to walk right into. And so I want to go over the tools and the approaches I'm using to juggle currently 5 different, totally separate brands and businesses. And so this is like real world stuff. Number 1, Skype groups. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, well, that's not innovative. Well, you're right. It's not innovative, but the way we're using them will be a game changer for you, I think. So let me just show you this. You want to form a group for your management team, okay? And I'll just show you. Look, it's right here. I mean, this is a screenshot. It's yada yada brand management team, and this is only for the management. Now, you may not, have that many staff yet where you need this, but there are management issues where you don't want like your customer service to be bogged down and see every darn message, and you don't maybe need your accounting people or your kind of supply chain management people or whatever to see more management related issues or more brainstorming issues, because it can get just bogged down. And what happens is if you start posting management type of issues to your customer service team, they start not reading all of the Skype messages, which is not what you want. So I believe you should have, now these are your CTs, possibly your VAs that make up the management team here, okay? And so this is where when you want to quickly en mass communicate something. Hey, guys, Amazon just suppressed our yada yada listing. Corey, can you make sure to do X, Y, and Z? Ed, we also make sure while he's doing that, do yada yada. And Paolo, you make sure and you be in charge of contacting seller support and finding out what the issue is, right? Boom, it's like fast communication en masse, and then they can quickly reply back, and we can all the players involved, we can see the development and as each person is reporting back in real time. Okay. Now, the second type of thing you want is for your customer service team. You want a separate group, Skype group for your customer team. We call ours the customer concierge team. And it says version 3 because we had to let people go that didn't work out. But let me just show you this here. So the reason why you want a customer service group is because this is where you want to post timely customer service issues and questions that come up if you have more than one person like we do. So for example, hey guys, we keep getting this question all of a sudden about issue X from our Amazon support. Guys, here's how to handle that if it keeps coming up, and if they need some more details, here's why this might be like an understanding on the user's part. Please, tell them to Google our our website and they can find a full tutorial there, yada, yada, yada. But it's great to have that interaction with your customer service team. Now, every time they log in for work, because again, for a lot of you and myself, this is where we use mainly VAs. Now, I do have some employees that also do this for another business, but everybody who is in touch with that customer, including their manager, right, is part of the customer service team. So this is where we discuss how to do good service. This is where if they are panicked and don't know how to handle a live chat issue or an Amazon support issue, they can post it. Guys, what do you think? How do I handle this? You know, this person seems upset and angry. And guess what? This becomes like a learning organism so that the other people on your team can see how we want those issues handled. So the next wave that comes in for the next shift, boom, you know, they can read it. So this is really invaluable. The management thing is really invaluable. And then you want your projects. Now, this is where you're going to involve your freelancers. So freelancers, VAs, if they're relevant, and whatever core team members. So this is kind of like all the people involved in a project. So in this case, it was brand, name a product, launch. I had some freelancers involved with some tech parts. I had some VAs involved and my core team. Okay. So these Skype groups are critical. This is kind of the hub in real time so that people can communicate, see what's going on, ask questions, learn together. So that is huge. All right. So again, some of you that are using Skype, maybe you're not using Skype in this way. I highly, highly recommend that you do it. And again, these are the three categories: management, projects, and divisions. Okay. All right. Now, the second tool, Google Apps and Google Drive. Now called Google Suite. G Suite. Here's why I love it. And I mentioned this on a podcast, so I'm not going to belabor this. I used to use Dropbox for Business. Got rid of it because of a convoluted structure that it's very hard to unshare things. And if you share at a higher level, they get to see everything underneath. It's just very tough to control access permissions, and also can bog down your employees' computers. Then I was touting Ignite. I even told you guys, oh, I like Ignite better. Nope, that was too slow and it was too buggy. They don't have the big user base, so we got rid of them. Finally, a client of mine said, hey, dummy, why aren't you using Google Drive? I said, well, they don't have a desktop app. He goes, yes, I do. Well, because of this. Well, yes, I do. Well, because of that. And so I finally, again, I went to my management team in a Skype group. I said, guys, what do you think about Ignite? They go, we all hate it. I said, okay, I do too. What do you guys think about switching everything over to Google Drive? They said, let's try it. There's a desktop app available, so it behaves just like Dropbox. I can easily control access at the file level, at the folder level. It's adopted around the world. So when you're working with freelancers and VAs, I don't have to teach them how to use it like I did with Dropbox or Ignite. It's easy to use. And as part of G Suite, you get branded email addresses, which is really what you want. It basically lets you use Gmail, but instead of having an email like dave123@gmail, it'll be dave@yourbrand.com. Okay. Now, I just want to show you something. I decided to take a screenshot. Look at how tightly organized my top level Google Drive is. So all my employees have a folder that says their name only. So my wife's says Emily-only. Ed's has a folder that says Ed-only. These are things that he's working on that he doesn't need or want to share with the rest of the world, maybe drafts. There's a folder called brands. Within here are all of our brands. I think there's currently 4 or 5 different brands in there. Some are Amazon brands, some are my off Amazon brands, and so on. Then there's marketing. Boom. Again, limited folder structure. And there's operations. Within operations is legal. There's the employee folders. Sorry, I can't write with my mouse. Okay. And taxes. So legal, employee, and taxes. No one has access to that except me, my wife, and my CPA. You do not want your other employees to be able to see the private information of other employees. That's just not appropriate. Okay. So again, look how simple it is. And I'm kind of a lunatic about having the entire team keep everything organized and titled and file names clear, understandable, so everyone can find information. Okay. Convo. Huge. Now, Convo. Tim Francis told me about Convo, and I love it. Slack, Teamwork, at least for us, Basecamp, at least for us, we found them too messy, too convoluted. Convo is, simple, focused, clear. Everyone uses it as our centralized communication for our intercompany projects. So note, this is more our project management tool, intercompany, meaning only our core employees interact in Convo, okay? For people that are outside of our organization, freelancers, and you're gonna be working with a lot of freelancers, we don't use Convo. For them, we only use a Skype group, and we use a project spreadsheet that I'll show you next, okay? Now, me and my team, my core team, we interact and message back and forth about stuff that's not appropriate to discuss in front of the freelancers in Skype group, okay? So I just decided to make this simple. Here's when we use it. Again, for intercompany projects or discussions or messages that we need searchable later. I hate Skype if I need to search and find anything, okay? When we want to keep things private and off of the Skype groups, right? When we want to message employees. When we don't use it is we don't use Convo for freelancers or VAs, only for the core team, okay? And again, I also just want to stress something here. This is more of an internal discipline. We don't use Convo to just brainstorm or messaging the group. That's what we use Skype for, okay? And Skype, the main difference between Convo and Skype is more en masse, fast messaging on critical issues, on brainstorming, or on customer service learning kind of issues. Convo, we really stay focused for intercompany projects, okay? Again, you're gonna be working the most with your employees and on a limited basis with your freelancers. So it just wasn't worth it to pay to add people to Convo that are outside the organization to get them to learn it. Then they're not going to do it like in an organized way, like we like, blah, 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 blah. So, okay. Now, let me show you something that I think will be a game changer for you guys. Now, you might not think a project management spreadsheet is a very sexy topic, right? Oh my gosh, this is a game changer for you if you let it be. So I just want to show you an example of our project management spreadsheet. So if we want to get stuff done, we put it on a spreadsheet, and it looks like this. Okay, so this hotspot right here is just a summary, a high-level view of the task. So in this example, we're going to build a Shopify site. And by the way, I didn't build this out. I just wanted you to see, but like identify Shopify theme, customize it, set up Google Apps for branded emails, blah, 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 and a deadline, okay? And this is how it's laid out. So, identify a Shopify theme to use. Who? Corey is going to see this step to completion, and his deadline date is Friday, May 19th. But there's sub-steps that are going to happen before that. And everything, as you map this out, it takes a little time, like an hour, but oh my gosh, we have been able to completely reconstruct funnels that had failed in the first iteration. I'm talking like unbelievable stuff that would take mere mortals a month, and we got it done like in 4 and 5 days using this process. So the sub-steps: show Ben 3 themes that will work best. Okay, that's Corey. He's got to get those 3 themes to me by Wednesday, May 10th. When he does, he puts an X through this so we can see, and everybody involved can see, and he writes when it was accomplished. Oh, I got that then on Tuesday. Make final decision on theme. Well, that's me. I got to make that happen by Friday. Install theme and customize it. That's Corey, yada, yada, see? So when all these steps are done, he can mark that as done. So here's what it looks like when something gets done. You strike through. The strike through is this right here. So you just highlight the item, and then you report what date it was actually completed. Now, you're going to share this with all the players involved, the freelancers, a VA, if they're acting as project manager, core team. And this acts as unbelievable accountability if you combine this with the Skype group. Okay. Hey guys, I got my thing done. And now, hey, Ed, we're still waiting on you for yada, 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 yada. And this is how you're able to manage. Now, this is really short. Typically, we might have 30 different action items and sub-steps, because some of the stuff, there's like lots of little details involved. And if you didn't have everything tightly organized in a spreadsheet like this, it'd be a disaster. Now, probably the best move I made was I recently put Ed in charge of being a project manager. And it's been a real game changer. Ed is just so fantastic as a project manager. If you have somebody who's very detail oriented, gets super annoyed like I do when stuff isn't done on time, is really good at spell checking, and can basically act as traffic cop to keep things moving, that will just be a game changer for your business. And you know what? It took me a while, but I realized, oh my gosh, Ed is perfectly suited to be project manager. And he's done a phenomenal job. Just incredible. That's why he's been getting bonuses. He's just adding so much value and just helping me out. So now I can focus on other things. I do still build this part out. This is the 80-20 stuff. This is the tactical part. Ed sometimes will help fill in some of the gaps with this information, the who and the target date. But then there's a handoff, and oftentimes there are kind of creative that we're waiting on. So we put the links to the creative right here. Okay, and so let me just show you what that looks like. So for example, welcome emails for the Shopify opt-ins, and you put the link to the Google Drive document there. Again, we're not using Dropbox or Ignite. Designer mockup for the Shopify page. Boom, you're going to put the image in Google Drive. So as these creatives get developed, and now everybody sees, oh, okay, boom, hey, you know what? He got the email set up, and now the other person who's responsible can click on links to creative. He can take those, and now he can upload them in like Klaviyo, for example. Does that make sense? Okay. And the last thing, no, sorry, that is the last thing. Guys, I get excited about these kind of simple things that have made a massive impact in my business. I cannot overstate how powerful and simple this form is. Without this form, without this process, I never could have been generating 3,000 email opt-ins within 3 weeks and transform a losing funnel into a winning funnel. And by the way, I just looked at our stats, and we are now profitable on our cost per conversion. Our cost per conversion for this brand new business is lower than Ezra's. And we're still making some tweaks. I mean, it is not perfect yet. Like we're tweaking some of the pricing and the offer, stuff like that. But the point is that thing leads to, again, what I call frictionless management. Okay, any questions about this? What is a good site to hire VAs nowadays? We highly recommend FreeUp. What you want to do is you want to go in to your Fast Track dashboard. There's a resources link, and you want to use that link there, and that will code you as a Ben Cummings customer. And Nathan will take really good care of you because he knows that I refer a lot of people to FreeUp, and people have been raving about FreeUp. Look, like anything else, guys, it's like what they say in that book, The Richest Man in Babylon: trust in Allah, but tie up your camels. You still have to make sure that VA, even as kind of pre-vetted as they are, you still have to make sure that they're going to perform for you. If not, you have to get rid of them. I mean, it's that simple. Liren, I know a lot of people like Slack, and some people have said, Ben, you got to switch to Slack. We did try using it. We just found it a bit messy. Kind of the conversation streams seem to just be all over the place. And I know some people love it. So just for us, at least, we have found that Convo is the winner. Brian says, Ben, do you as CEO use a laptop, a desktop, or both? All the above. I have a dual monitor system in my office. That just means I have the largest iMac, and next to it I have an iMac display. because I need a lot of screen real estate. Like on my one monitor, I'm broadcasting this webinar. On my other monitor that you can't see, I have my notes, I have links open, I have stuff ready to go. I also have 3 laptops. I have 2 iPads. Over time, you kind of like accumulate Mac products, right? It's why they're going to be the first $1 trillion valued company here, probably by year end. Mark says, would it work to take your SOPs as a starting point in building the project management spreadsheet? Well, SOPs and a project management spreadsheet are 2 different things in my mind. An SOP is a process, a system for a task that will be repeated by an employee or a VA. A project is something that is like a one-off type of thing, like building out your Shopify site, right? It doesn't make sense to necessarily, so like building out a Shopify site would be a project, or like launching your new Amazon product. That, for me, I would put that into a project like this. And then I would just share the project spreadsheet with those parties that will be involved with this at multiple touch points, like our freelance, like graphic designer, our intermediary warehouse, and blah, 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 okay? Eddie says, I've used onlinejobs.ph to hire in addition to free up. Okay, thanks, Eddie. Jason's loving it. Do I use this as part of my monthly planning? I don't use this as part of my monthly planning. I only use it whenever we have a project that will involve multiple people. Like I don't create like 10 of these for each individual thing. Like if you can kind of, here, let me just clarify something real quick. So we have Convo, right? So like small, like 1 or 2 step projects, I'll post in Convo, and I'll just tag the team members, and they can easily implement that, right? But for big projects where there's like, at least 10 or more steps and multiple people involved, that's when I use a project spreadsheet, okay? When there's like deadlines, there's multiple people that have to coordinate with deadlines. And then you have my, Ed, my project manager, acting as traffic cop, saying, hey, you need to get this done. Hey, get this done. Hey, let's keep this moving, So like, for example, someone who I've gotten to know and admire a lot named Ryan Levesque, he's the guy who invented the Ask method. So when he just did his recent relaunch, that was all documented in a giant project sheet like this, right? So there's so many different, there's copywriters involved, there's image guys involved, there's web guys involved. That's when you want to do one of these kind of one-off project spreadsheets, okay? Hopefully that kind of cleared it up. David says, this is all awesome. Thank you for devoting the time to train us on the hiring and team management techniques. Awesome, David. I'm glad you guys are liking this. How do you see a list of tasks you have assigned across multiple projects using sheets? I don't know. It's not like I have, again, I don't have like 10 of these. I usually just have 1 or 2 of these project spreadsheets. And, like right up here, see, look at this. Here's an example. Right there is one. Okay. That's one of my project spreadsheets. Here's another one. Okay. Here's another one. So right now I have 3 that I'm juggling. Actually, this was version 2 for updating one of our funnels. That's already done, but I'm keeping it up there because there's some stuff that I want to transfer over to iteration 3. But so right now I only have 2 active projects, and frankly, this is the main one. So I keep it right up there in my Google Chrome bar, right here, and boom, I just click it, and I monitor what's getting done. What do I have to do? And I'm looking at it once or twice a day, So Dan's loving it. Thanks, Dan. Jason says, how do you keep all your SOPs organized in Evernote? It would be interesting to see this. So yeah, I can't unfortunately show you my Evernote because there's so much stuff I'd have to hide. It would be useless. But basically in Evernote, you can create kind of a folder. I use the desktop app. I don't ever use like the online version here. And so if you can kind of picture this, there is a section. So there's personal and then there's business, right? So all my employees, I pay to add them to the personal side because I have them make SOPs sometimes for me. So there's this tab at the top. So for personal, I put like AFT for Amazon Fast Track SOPs, stuff I'm going to give to you guys. I'll put like all kinds of stuff, right? So these are folders, and within that folder are all the SOPs as I build them, okay? Let me see if I can show you something here. Okay. Hold on, let me just make sure. Sorry, I can't show you this. Let me take a screenshot. Well, no, sorry guys. And then on the business side, we have it shared folders by employee. So it would say, for example, Ben and Corey, Ben and Ed, Ben and whoever, because then Ed and Corey can make their SOPs in that folder, and then it instantly shows up in mine. Okay. I'm not quite as organized in my personal Evernote because I use Evernote for so many different things. Things even like hold on a second. Let me go back. Leave. I'm going to show you guys this in a minute. You guys are going to freaking love this next segment. We're done with this. Let me close that. We're done with this. I'll take some final questions here, and then I still have one more segment. You guys are going to like this a lot. You know what? A lot of these questions, if you don't mind, why don't you guys show up on the Q&A call, and I can cover a lot more of these in more detail, because this is kind of part art and science. I'm getting a lot of questions of like, well, how do you differentiate between something you post in Convo versus when to build a project spreadsheet? And again, it's not black and white, but you'll know when there's multiple touch points with different parties involved, and it's a big project. It's kind of one-off though, like a one-off project, such as building a Shopify site or launching a project, a product, or things like that, or like I'm going to build out a contest funnel. And there's so many different designers and employees and freelancers involved that that's going to be its own spreadsheet. Okay, it's going to be like, literally it'll say project dash contest funnel. Okay, and it'll do a high level view here, and then there's going to be probably 30 different action steps because we've got to integrate with Klaviyo and blah 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 blah. So different outsourcers and stuff like that. So I guess I would say if it's anything beyond like 5 simple steps, nah. See, it's not that black and white. It's not that black and white. You'll just know. I'm sorry, I can't give you a better answer, but you'll just know. When there's a lot of little pieces, that's your default. That it has to be a project that's managed on a spreadsheet. Here, I'll put it this way: if you had a project manager, and you know that you would need the project manager to get that particular task done, then that's when you know you need to build it out on a project spreadsheet. If you know that you wouldn't need to involve your project manager because it's not that intricate, that's when you use Convo. Thanks, Anna. Really appreciate it. Anna wrote, amazing training. Have to work hard to implement this year. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the final thing. I'm really pumped up about this. This is how to use OneCode with my ClickFunnels templates. Okay, so let me just explain this here real quick. Go through a couple of things here. By the way, you like this screenshot? Frictionless management. Now that's friction. Isn't that great? Oh man, you gotta have fun, right? All right, let's talk about the OneCode tutorial. Super pumped about this. That allows for one-time use coupons with all my ClickFunnels templates. So let me just give you some background on this so you know what I'm talking about. So of all the people that are currently in Fast Track, okay, literally, no exaggeration, like 99.9% of you found me through ASM Masters. So you're already a part of ASM Masters. And if you're like, huh? That's just, that's you bought ASM at some point, or OPP through Rapid Crush. If you bought ASM, any of the ASMs or any of OPP through Rapid Crush, you're part of ASM Masters, which is 99% of you. Literally at Emily Check, there's less than 10 people that are not part of ASM Masters, okay? And don't worry, I'm gonna address both of you. But recently, in case you missed the announcement, Rapid Crush did something really cool. He gave everybody who's ever been part of OPP or ASM Masters, everybody, they gave them access to their latest ASM Masters bonuses, okay, their bonus package. And one of the bonuses was a simple software script that I'm really excited about that was coded by one of our good clients and fast trackers, and he made something called OneCode. OneCode, okay? So that's not our tool. I just want to stress, I have nothing to do with OneCode. I have nothing to do with these Rapid Crush bonuses, okay? But since 99% of you are eligible to get it, if you haven't, I'm bringing this to your attention, contact Rapid Crush at support@rapidcrush.com and find out where you can access the latest round of ASM Masters bonuses. And part of this is OneCode, okay? Again, I must stress, I don't want to make this like a customer service nightmare for my wife, Emily, because she's just going to copy and paste the same thing. It's not our tool. We can't give it to you. We have nothing to do with this tool, okay? But again, I just want to beat this dead horse one final time. If you are an ASM Masters, which 99% of you are, through either OPP or buying ASM through Rapid Crush, you need to get access to the latest ASM Masters bonuses, and they can hook you up with this, okay? Now, what if you're one of the less than 10 people? Again, I mean, less than 10 people out of all fast trackers never bought anything through OPP or Fast Track. They just found me through YouTube or something. Again, it's less than 10% of you. I mean, less than 10 people total. I have gotten permission to hook you up with OneCode for free, so it won't cost you any money either. Okay, so if you contact us, if you're one of these 10 people, so look, my wife gets like 100 people saying, "Well, it's me." It's not you. You are an ASM Masters, and you need to get it through them. But if you know you never bought through Rapid Crush, ASM, or OPP, contact Emily, and we'll hook you up with OneCode for free. I want all of you covered. I want no fast tracker left behind. Okay. Support at rapidcrush.com for everybody else, for the 99% of people that are part of ASM Masters. If you have not gotten the ASM Masters bonuses and includes OneCode, that's who you need to email. Now, let me now walk you through this tool. It's simple. I love it. It's perfect. And I'm going to be using it in concert with all of our templates. And it gave me the chance to update one of our templates and make it more powerful. So let me just show you this. So you're going to log into OneCode. It looks like this. Okay. Just going to refresh the screen here. And you're going to click Create a New Campaign. I'm going to show you this in real time. It's really easy. Let's say we're launching a dog leash. We're going to do dog leash. I always, I'm big into naming conventions, so let's put the date. So let's pretend our launch is going to be 7 days. So it's May 11th through May 18th. I think that's 7 days. If not, just pretend it was. Okay. Now you're going to drop in your one-time use coupons. So I just grabbed some random ones here. These are invalid, but just to show you, we're going to put them here. Boom. Okay. Ignore the optional settings here. This does not apply because we're using ClickFunnels. Daily coupon distribution limit. Let's say we're going to move 50 units a day through one of our funnels. So this will distribute 50 of the coupons per day during this date range. We're going to start today, and we're going to end on the 18th, 7-day launch. What to do if the campaign ends? Show a message that says this, and I have the exact verbiage here for you. Let me just minimize this real quick. Sorry, let me close some of this. Sorry, this promotion has ended. We have no more coupons available today. That's what will appear in this spot instead of the one-time use coupon code, okay? Now, you click create campaign. That's all you need to do. And then you hover your mouse here where it says embed code. You're gonna copy this code and you're gonna put this into the revised launch funnels. Now, so let me show you what these revised funnels are. Check this out. This is the revised flash sale funnel. This is gonna work better. Today's secret sale expires in 11 hours, 21 minutes. Save 97% off this Amazon product. Now, look, don't write me an email and go, but Ben, are you saying we have to give 97% off? No, this is just an example, guys, just an example. Secret flash sale, save 97% off. This regularly sells on Amazon. You pay just 59 cents. And they can click on these and it shows the images. Here's branded with Amazon. It says, claim your coupon. Boom. Where should we send you the coupon code? They enter their email. Show me the coupon code now. It redirects them to a page that looks like this. And boom, this is the script. See this? It dynamically will tell their IP address and things like this so that if they revisit this page, they're only going to see that one-time use coupon code every time. It's not going to keep showing them the next code, then the next code. Watch, if I refresh this page, it's still there. See that? So I changed this verbiage and I simplified this. This is super streamlined. It says, here is your private Amazon coupon code, which will expire at midnight. Congratulations, here's your coupon code. And they can click in here easily and copy it. We also coded this, so this will open up. Now, obviously you would link to your product. This will open up in a new tab, right? So just pretend this opens up to your product and they can easily just right click on this and use it. Is that not awesome? You can now do this. You can now use this new template, this new flash sale template. I call it the one code flash sale template. You can now use this in ClickFunnels, and where you can find this is this SOP will be reposted underneath the replay. And at the bottom, you're going to have the links to the two new templates, the one code revised flash sale funnel. I'm super pumped about this, and the one code classic Ben Cummings giveaway funnel. Okay. So let me just show you while we're here. Okay. So this, let me show you how to insert that code that we created here in one code. So we're going to move this over here. And this is what ClickFunnels looks like. Okay. So this is step one, right? So this is that homepage. And just in case you've never used ClickFunnels, ClickFunnels is freaking awesome. We use ClickFunnels constantly in all of our businesses. You click on here and you can easily change out the image. You click in here, you just easily edit this to 49, right? You click on here, you can change the behavior. If you want to edit anything in a pop-up, you click up here, edit settings in a pop-up, you can change stuff up here. It's just freaking killer. Swap out your images here and so on. It's really easy. But let me show you in step 2 of the funnel. This is laid out in a logical funnel order. That's why it's called ClickFunnels. You're going to click Edit Page. And see this thing that you're going to find in here that says Custom JavaScript? You're going to click Open Code Editor. This is all in here. You just click this. And you're going to replace this with the one coupon, with the one code here. So in this example, you're going to click on Get Embed Code, copy that. Sorry. Where are we here? There we go. Paste it in here, which I'm not going to do. And then just click X, click Save, and you can preview it. Boom. Freaking awesome. Okay. And here's my second, here, let me just close these now. This is my revised classic giveaway funnel that absolutely works. Again, it's claim your coupon code, a little different. And now it takes me to the page. Whoops, doesn't look like that. It looks like this. See that? Again, it works exact same way. There's 2 spots. We're going to put the code in. I can just show you that for sake of clarity. Now, there's 4 steps in this funnel. This is a killer funnel. This is where there's a step to join your deal club and all kinds of cool stuff. See that? Incredible retail deals club. Who else would like to get? And so you turn these one-off discount deals into an ongoing deal club. So you're building an asset so you can rank any product at will. But let's go back to this step here. This is where you're going to edit the page. And I'll just show you the hot spots here. Again, where it says custom JavaScript, click that, and you're going to paste in, get rid of what's in there and paste in the one code, and it'll just automate the whole thing for you. All right. So, and it's all documented here, so don't worry. You're going to have this SOP that is provided to you with the webinar replay. So what do you guys think? How did I do today? Did I give you guys your money's worth? Yeah? Any quick questions before we call it a day? Richard, you got to get ClickFunnels. If not, you're really missing a boat. So highly recommend it. ClickFunnels is something. So here's what to do. Don't sign up yet. Wait for the SOPs to be released, and then use the links in there. That way you'll be taken care of. They'll code it as coming from a Ben Cummings referral. I'm getting more and more pull with them, by the way, and I'm able to get you at times I'm able to swing deals for you guys. Like I do a year-end tax sale deal for you guys that they don't, and I can get bonuses and stuff for you guys that really no one else can get. And they're now a big company, but they know I refer a lot of traffic to them. So please use our links that are in the SOPs if you're going to sign up. And then you'll be sure that you'll be able to one-click add these. And the instructions are right in the SOP, so don't worry about that if you're new to it. Can one code be used with any website? Yeah, I think so. Again, it's not my tool, but Dave says, nope, I want a refund. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Joseph said, this is why I joined Fast Track. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Tina. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jacob. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Brian. So let's just call this a day, shall we? I know there's a lot that we cover on these, but you really, really, really want to go back and watch the replay for this. And, my goal is always to just have you guys implement just 3 things. Now, if you're a type A like I am, you're going to be like, hell no, I'm not doing 3 things. I'm going to do, 30 things. Great. We'll change that to a 30. But at a minimum, do 3 things. 3 of the most important 80-20 things you can do from this webinar. And I'll be really pleased if you can just really commit to yourself to get all 3 of those things done in between now and our next training. Now, this is not the end of the road. You guys have been telling me that you're loving these weekly and sometimes bi-weekly podcasts that I'm sending out those short audio messages to you guys. And that's like bonus content. That's stuff that I'll continue to talk about, or if I get questions about like stuff I taught this month, I tell you what's coming up next month. It's just a really good thing I think that we've started, and I can kind of just really keep you guys focused and on track. And again, don't forget to be watching the Facebook Lives. In fact, I'm probably going to do a Facebook Live here in half an hour, and then I'll collapse for the day because these take a lot out of me. But really, this will get you plugged in, and this will keep you on point, on focus. It's really important as an entrepreneur that you keep your headspace right, that you keep your head in the game. Kind of like driving a car. If you take your eyes off the road just for a few seconds, you can end up in a ditch. Boy, is that ever true in business. So guys, thanks so much for the time and attention and trust. You guys are freaking amazing and awesome. And I hope you guys just absolutely crush it with this. And I'll be in touch soon. Thanks so much.